Divine Comprehension, a dimensional journey begins in Douluo. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 476 Gods. Submit to death. This scene is so handsome that it's almost too good to be true. The angel of laziness, holding his forehead and smiling bitterly. I said my premonition would not be wrong. Photographer, wow, Wu Tong looks so handsome. Take pictures. Dragon King spraying water. Little son, a little son that's still alive. Oslo, understand the mercy of the King of Gods. Gods, watch carefully. Extinction is at this stab. Burn thoroughly, sun wheel. Submit to death. Vasavi Shakti. Wu Tong, after destroying those false gods in the god realm, I am the only god on this world. There's nothing wrong with calling myself the King of Gods. As for mercy, there's even less wrong with it. Letting these scum die without pain is not mercy. Then what is mercy? As Wu Tong spoke, he raised the blazing gold spear in his hand high above his head without the slightest hesitation, and a huge amount of energy exploded at that moment. In an instant, it gathered and condensed above Wu Tong's head, transforming into a mysterious rune representing the sun. This rune is very mysterious. Although no one knows this rune, no matter who you are or from what angle you look at it, you can understand what it represents at a glance: the sun. God has no form, and creation is natural. This rune, as the external manifestation of Wu Tong's divine power, naturally has its own unique mystery. Explaining itself is just one of its small effects, and it is not worth mentioning at all. Then, with a manifestation of the sun rune, a blazing flame suddenly surged from the tip of the blazing gold spear. When the flame dissipated, the overall shape of the entire blazing gold spear suddenly changed dramatically. The original spear turned into a big sword at this moment, or more accurately, it should be turned into a sword spear. The spear blade is several times larger than the average spearhead, and the spear handle is several times longer than the handle of an average sword. The combination of the spear and the sword looks strange, yet full of an inexplicable harmony. The spear blade is still blazing gold, emitting a scorching golden light, like a sun that makes it impossible to look directly at it. The spear handle is engraved with countless fine and trivial runes, winding and circling, obscure and inexplicable, and completely does not belong to any kind of rune in the world, but it explains the power of destiny to the world. The junction of the blade and the spear handle forms a sun eye that looks extremely charming. The entire blazing golden spear exudes an extremely terrifying momentum and power at this moment. This is Wu Tong's version of the immortal spear, and it will soon have the name and power of the god-killing spear, like Karna's immortal spear. Buyao Bilion, although the color is slightly different from the original, Karna, I have to admit that this color-matching god-killing spear is more handsome. As soon as the blazing golden spear appeared, a red light column appeared out of thin air in the universe and soared into the sky, enveloping Wu Tong. Then, a heat wave erupted from the light column. In just this moment, the temperature around the light column exceeded the temperature of the core of the sun and directly reached a super high temperature of hundreds of millions of degrees. What is the concept of hundreds of millions of degrees? Let's put it this way. In the previous life, all matter on the earth would be instantly vaporized after being exposed to a temperature of more than 6,000 degrees. A high temperature of hundreds of millions of degrees. It can be said that once the temperature comes out, everything is annihilated. Just a heat wave radiated from the outer layer of the temperature turned everything around Wu Tong into a scorching field. In this, even the vacuum was baked and distorted. Wu Tong, holding the blazing golden spear high, was wrapped in crimson energy, and a red light column rushed straight into the sky and the earth. The energy released by the red light column slowly formed a huge red light ball covering tens of thousands of kilometers above Wu Tong's head, like a small sun. The huge red circular energy shield that suddenly appeared in the starry sky and the energy that Wu Tong just released soon enveloped the battlefield with a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers. This is a barrier to prevent the energy of the blazing golden spear from spilling out, causing a large-scale planetary explosion around it. From the perspective of the people in the live broadcast room, Wu Tong's current state is like a huge sun that is about to fall on the god realm. Dragon King spraying water, I declare that this is the most restored Karnakoser, and I will not accept any rebuttal. Don't bully the poor young man. This is even more like Karna, the tragedy. It's just like the sun, dazzling, brilliant, and shining the lazy angel. Wow, It really looks good. There was no time to pay attention to the exclamations and ridicule in the group. Wu Tong was concentrating on controlling the strange phenomena emanating from his body. After all, this was a big show of pretense that he had put in so much effort. If he messed up, there would be no other god realm for him to show off. Go, then, in the eyes of everyone in the live broadcast room, Wu Tong roared again, and then the blazing golden spear in his hand was thrown out in an instant. As soon as the blazing golden spear was released, it was driven by the fate rune and turned into a dazzling golden meteor, like the artifact of the great god Odin in mythology, Gungnir, the eternal spear, and rushed towards the god realm not far away. The golden light spread, and in an instant, the inside of the barrier of a radius of 10,000 miles was dyed golden. The gods who witnessed Wu Tong shaping a sun into a spear, when they saw this peerless artifact flying towards the god realm, all showed despair on their faces. Some knelt down and begged for mercy, some fled in all directions, some gave up resistance, and some committed suicide on the spot. All kinds of sentient beings are not as good as the outside. But what surprised Wu Tong was that among all the gods in the god realm, not a single god resisted or fought back against a blazing golden spear. But if you think about it carefully, this is normal. Facing a sun that is about to fall on the god realm. What can those pseudo-gods who have trouble even exploding stars use to resist? With their heads? When this god-killing spear slipped out of Wu Tong's hand, the outcome of the matter was already determined. No matter how unwilling the gods in the god realm were, they could only watch the god-killing spear fall towards the god realm. Break through, and break through again. Pierce, and pierce again. The space-time barrier, the divine defense barrier, the crust, the mantle. The outer core, the inner core, break. Nothing can stop the blazing golden spear from destroying the god realm. Chapter 477, Destruction of the Divine Realm, Bubbling Earth Will. The space-time barrier formed by the power of time and space, which made the gods of the god realm helpless, was instantly pierced by the effect of the blazing golden spear. The defensive barrier that gathered all the power of the gods and was deployed by the center of the god realm, turned into a layer of window paper that could be broken with a poke the moment it came into contact with a blazing golden spear. The hard and majestic earth, at the moment it came into contact with a blazing golden spear, was directly burned into boiling magma by the terrifying temperature of the spear, and then evaporated into air. The extremely hard core of the earth, under the terrifying power of the blazing golden spear, was easily pierced like a fragile egg, and then collapsed and dispersed. It only took a moment. The god realm, which could have been called quiet and peaceful, beautiful like a fairyland, turned into a scene of doomsday under the attack of the blazing golden spear. The scorching temperature was so fierce that it turned the earth into boiling magma, evaporated the ocean into boiling mist, burned plants into ash-like residues, and turned living things into debris. This was only the incidental effect of the temperature, not the power of the spear itself. Then, as the core of the planet was destroyed, the gravitational field that originally maintained the stability of the planet instantly disintegrated. The core of the earth was torn apart, the mantle was rioting, cracks appeared in the crust, and magma spread everywhere. Then, the entire god realm was destroyed and directly burst out with huge stellar energy under the blazing golden spear, which turned into a brilliant, grand and dazzling huge firework. The Douluo god realm was completely destroyed. Of course, many gods in the god realm were destroyed along with it. Those gods who usually rode on the top of the Douluo realm and acted arrogantly, one by one, none of them escaped, and all of them entered the end together with the destruction of the god realm. In the live broadcast room. Quiet. There was silence, as if time and space had stopped. No one spoke, and the atmosphere in the group was quiet. Everyone was admiring this brilliant scene that might not be seen again in the future or even for a long time. After a long while, someone finally spoke. Hungry Dragon Roar, wow, what beautiful fireworks. As a chaotic force, the Dragon Clan has a natural love and impulse for acts of destruction and destruction. Thor is like this, Fafnir is like this, and Kana-chan is also like this. Therefore, when seeing the magnificent beauty produced by the explosion of the destruction of the god realm, even Kana couldn't help but utter words of praise. And as Kana spoke, the atmosphere in the live broadcast room suddenly changed, as if a chat box had been opened, and all the group members began to discuss and praise. King of cuteness, this fireworks is really shocking, don't bully the young and poor, Of course it's a planet explosion. How can it not be shocking? King of Space, it is indeed shocking. I've seen many planet explosions, but I've never seen such a magnificent explosion. Dragon King spraying water. It is mainly because after Wu Tong cosplayed as Kurna, the cool attack method occupied a large number of image points. Buyao Bilion. That's true. Who would have thought that Brother Tong would destroy the God Realm in this way? Tragedy. This fireworks really deserves the title of the most beautiful fireworks. Cool, lazy angel, it's okay will of the earth. Afraid, just when everyone was talking about it, a group member who had been silent since joining the chat group suddenly spoke, and the discussion of everyone stopped abruptly. Lazy angel, cup, Dragon King spraying water, unshakable lotus. All the group members in the live broadcast room swiped the bullet screen to express their shock. Photographer, did I just see that an incredible person spoke? Seeker, you read it right. Little Sanayu, the Earth consciousness spoke. Wu Tong was very sure of Sanayuki's uncertainty and gave an answer. Photographer, the newcomer finally spoke. It's been almost a month, right? Photographer, I thought he hadn't learned human language yet. But since he can speak, why doesn't he chat with us? Mortal Leaf, is it possible that it's because the nature of the planet doesn't like to move, so he doesn't like to talk? Don't despise the poor young man. Then why did he suddenly speak today? After hearing Yihei's analysis, Xiao Yan was about to ask the reason why the Earth consciousness spoke. But halfway through his words, Xiao Yan suddenly realized something. After the question came to his throat, he couldn't say it out loud. Seeing Xiao Yan's question stopped halfway through, the others also reacted. If I remember correctly, they seemed to. It seemed that, perhaps, they just destroyed a planet? No wonder Wu Tong came back to his senses and thought of the message sent by the Earth Will just now. He also reacted immediately, so he couldn't help scratching his head in embarrassment. He seemed to have scared Mother Earth. What should he do? How about an apology and an explanation? After all, no matter what, they are all group members. After thinking of this, Wu Tong no longer hesitated and spoke directly in the live broadcast room, trying to explain that he was not a good person, nor a bad person. Seeker, I can actually explain this matter. Seeker, at Earth consciousness. Seeker, the reason why I destroyed this planet is because blah blah blah. Then, everyone in the live broadcast room saw the embarrassing scene of Wu Tong frantically swiping the screen to explain and tagging the Earth consciousness to appease it, but the Earth consciousness refused to reply. Dragon King spraying water. Okay, it seems that the Earth consciousness has been scared offline. Don't tag it, Wu Tong. Wait for him to come online later, and then explain it. Dragon King spraying water. But logically, this shouldn't be the case. After all, the Earth Will is also a planet, and it should have been accustomed to the scene of planetary destruction. Logically, it shouldn't be so fragile, right? Dragon King spraying water. Could it be that he can associate the scene of the destruction of the God Realm with himself after watching the live broadcast? As Guruli spoke, her expression couldn't help but become subtle, and her tone gradually became weaker. Chapter 478, Embarrassment, Movements of All Parties. Seemingly, as if, probably, possibly, should Earth consciousness can really connect this scene to itself? As the real protagonist of Wandering Earth. The reason why he wandered seemed to be because the sun of his own world was about to explode, so in order to survive, he was forced to choose to wander. But at this critical moment of mental tension, he saw Wu Tong use a spear transformed from the sun to directly blast a planet. Hiss, it is probably difficult for him not to connect it to himself, right, Guruli? By the way, the will of the Earth is in conflict with the sun, right? Dragon King spraying water. When reminded by Guruli, other group members who also had doubts in their hearts also reacted. They realized the real reason why the Earth consciousness was scared. It was scared away by the God Realm that was blasted by the star, marked in red. Tragedy, lazy angel, red kite immortal, photographer. After understanding the cause of the matter, everyone became embarrassed. When they were watching Wu Tong destroy the planet, how could they forget that there was really a planet in the group? This thing was done. It was too embarrassing, right? Buyao Bilion, I see, that's how it is. Haha. Looking at this gradually awkward live broadcast room, even Zhang Chulin, who is usually an expert in livening up the atmosphere, didn't know what to say at this moment. After all, at this time, it seems that nothing he said is appropriate. Wu Tong looked at this awkward live broadcast room and sighed helplessly. The good mood he had originally gained from destroying the God Realm also dissipated a lot. Looking at this atmosphere, it should be that the live broadcast can't go on. Well, anyway, the God realm has been destroyed, so let's stop here for today's live broadcast. Thinking of this, Wu Tong was silent for a while, and then sent another barrage. Seeker, okay, since we have finished watching the fireworks, let's stop here today. I will turn off the live broadcast. After that, Wu Tong closed the live broadcast room, raised his hand to collect the remaining debris from the explosion of the God realm, and then returned to the Douluo Continent, residue, the divine throne of a god condensed by rules and indestructible by physical means, made of divine metals, smelted and refined by the power of the sun, forming a super-divine material containing the power of the sun. The souls of the gods are all collected in the 10,000 souls banner. Skins and tendons drawn out, bones sucked and marrow squeezed, every drop of use value of the divine world and the gods in the divine world is squeezed out, and even death cannot be spared, by, destroyer of the divine realm, big capitalist, Wu Tong. Let's talk about two things. When Wu Tong started to destroy the divine world, the heritage sites of the gods on Douluo Star all made a huge noise. The City of Slaughter, the Rakshasa secret realm, the Sea God Temple, and the Angel Temple all began to shake violently like an earthquake. The worship hall. Sensing the movement of the angel statue, the great worshipper Jin Daolio could not sit still. With a flash, he rushed to the angel statue, mobilized his soul power, and calmed the turbulent temple. While comforting, Jin Daolio also looked at the trembling angel statue with a pious and puzzled look, and was worried. What happened to the angel god? How come we who are still in the lower world are implicated, angel god? No matter what the reason, your devout believers sincerely hope that you can overcome this difficulty. However, no matter how Jin Daolio guessed in his heart, he could not guess that this was a sign of the destruction of the divine world and the imminent fall of the gods. Sea God Island. Feeling the turbulent island, the guardians of the seven holy pillars also felt uneasy with the turbulence of Sea God Island. But just when they wanted to find the chief worshipper and ask about the cause of the turbulence of Sea God Island, an illusory voice rang out from the ears of the major holy pillars. Don't be so nervous. You use the power of the holy pillars to stabilize the Sea God Island first. I will go to the temple and ask the Lord Sea God. Yes, as you command, Lord High Priest. Hearing this familiar voice, the seven holy pillars Douluo, as if they had found their backbone again, hurriedly answered. After answering, they followed the voice owner's instructions, used their own soul power, linked the power of the holy pillars, and unfolded a sea blue barrier to stabilize the turbulent Sea God Island. On the other side, although Poseidon was also uneasy about this turmoil, as the great priest of Sea God Island, Poseidon could not show it like this. Because once she collapsed, the residents of Sea God Island would surely collapse with her, and in this case, Sea God Island would surely fall into chaos. Therefore, even for the stability of Sea God Island, she could not be afraid at all. Therefore, Poseidon quickly sent a message to the seven holy pillars, asking them to activate the divine power accumulated by the seven holy pillars over the years to stabilize the turbulence of the Sea God Island. Seeing that the originally turbulent Sea God Island was covered by a layer of familiar sea blue energy and stabilized, Poseidon was relieved. Fortunately, in this way, the Sea God Island can be temporarily stabilized. But why did the Sea God Island suddenly become turbulent? Could it be that Lord Sea God wants to convey some information to us? As a devout believer, in Poseidon's view, all the movements on the sea are the Sea God conveying various information to them. Therefore, she easily linked the turbulence of the Sea God Island to the Sea God. In a sense, the turbulence of the Sea God Island is really related to the Sea God, but this is not to convey information, but a foreshadowing of the Sea God's death. Realizing the turbulence of the Sea God Island may be when the Sea God wants to convey information. Poseidon immediately became excited, and in a flash, he arrived in front of the temple of Poseidon. After tidying up his clothes and adjusting his appearance, Poseidon slowly stretched out his hand with a solemn and dignified look and opened the door of the temple of Poseidon. But when she saw the statue of Poseidon, before she had time to speak, she collapsed to the ground as if she had seen something incredible. The shock in her eyes was self-evident, and she began to murmur, "No, it's impossible, absolutely impossible, Lord Poseidon, how could Lord Poseidon be in trouble?" If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 479 Wu Tong. External threats have been eliminated, but internal troubles remain. Are you wondering why Poseidon suddenly became like this? Let's turn our sights and come to the statue of Poseidon in the Temple of Poseidon. I saw the statue that was originally majestic, tall and upright, as majestic as the Poseidon himself. At this moment, cracks appeared on it. Although it was just a faint crack, in the eyes of fanatics like Poseidon, this was simply something that should not happen. After all, the statue of Poseidon is protected by the power of Poseidon, and there is no way anything will go wrong. Once there is a problem with the statue of Poseidon, it means that Poseidon has encountered a point where he has no power to maintain the statue. In short, he is in danger of his life. You know, as a person from Poseidon Island, Poseidon has been instilled with a brainwashing concept that Poseidon is an omnipotent god and that Lord Poseidon is supreme since he was a child. And Poseidon, who has been brainwashed since childhood, is also convinced of this. In her cognition, Poseidon is an omnipotent existence. However, when he now knows that Poseidon is in danger and is not omnipotent, how could Poseidon accept this? How could he not collapse? In short, his idol collapsed and his heart collapsed. Let's not talk about Poseidon, whose heart has collapsed. Let's shift our focus to the next target. Raksha Secret Realm. In front of the Raksha statue, Bibi Dong was sitting on the chair under the statue, practicing with her eyes closed. However, a sudden strange shaking made Bibi Dong frown slightly, and then she slowly opened her eyes. What's going on? What are you doing? As the inheritance place of the gods, the Raksha Secret Realm is impossible to shake on weekdays. If you want to make this place shake, there is no other way except that Raksha God wants it to shake. In addition, Raksha God does this kind of thing on weekdays. So Bibi Dong almost didn't think about it, and turned her head to look at the Raksha statue and questioned. But when she turned her head and saw the Raksha statue, it seemed as if she had discovered something incredible. The pupils in her beautiful eyes shrank to the size of a pinhole due to shock. Boom boom with a loud noise. Bibi Dong watched with her own eyes as the Rakshasa statue in front of her turned into countless fragments and became a ruin. How is this possible? Looking at the collapsed statue in front of her, Bibi Dong couldn't help but mutter to herself. How could the statue collapse for no reason? Could it be that there was something wrong with the Rakshasa god? But this is unlikely. The Rakshasa god is a god? What could go wrong with him? Just as Bibi Dong was having a debate in her mind. Crack, crack, crack. Tables, chairs, temples, the earth, the sky, space, everything around Bibi Dong began to collapse. Seeing this scene, Bibi Dong no longer had any doubts in her heart. There must be something wrong with the Rakshasa god. Otherwise, this Rakshasa secret realm constructed by the power of the Rakshasa god would never have such a problem. Kakaka. Looking at the void cracks that had gradually spread to her side, Bibi Dong did not dare to stay any longer and rushed to the exit beside her. Finally, before the Rakshasa secret realm completely collapsed, Bibi Dong rushed through the exit dangerously. After rushing out of the Rakshasa secret realm, Bibi Dong, who was not buried with the secret realm, felt the Raksha divine power in her body gradually dying. She couldn't help but look up at the ceiling. That melodious and deep gaze seemed to penetrate the ceiling, penetrate the sky, and look directly at the God realm across the stars. God realm, what happened? What's wrong with the Raksha god again? With this question in mind, Bibi Dong slowly left the secret room and walked towards the Pope's palace. She needed to mobilize her men to confirm whether there was any problem with the worship hall and the slaughter city. If there was no accident, it meant that only the Raksha god died. But if there was an accident in these two places, then the matter would be serious. Not only these three places, but also the inheritance places of other gods. Whether they appeared in the original book or not, they all turned into ruins at the same time. This phenomenon immediately caused the guardians of the inheritance places of the major gods to be terrified. And the culprit who caused all the turmoil, Wu Tong. At this moment, he was leisurely and returned to the gate of the academy. After entering the academy, Wu Tong did not walk towards the residence. Instead, he slowly walked towards the cafeteria. After all, it has been a long time since I tasted the cooking skills of Chef Jin. Today, I just solved a problem and my appetite is open, so I will go to support him. The external threat of the God realm has been solved, so next, it will be the turn of the internal troubles of the Douluo realm. With so many forces on a continent, it really needs to be adjusted. In this case, let's find those guys tomorrow and discuss this matter. Wu Tong walked towards the cafeteria while slowly thinking about his next plan. Gradually, Wu Tong became more and more absorbed in his thoughts, and finally completely immersed in his thoughts, not paying attention to the surrounding environment. As we all know, looking down at your phone is extremely dangerous. The same is true for being immersed in your own thoughts and not paying attention to the surrounding environment. If nothing unexpected happens, an accident is about to happen. Wu Tong was walking, and suddenly felt a weak impact on his body. This feeling was like hitting something. Ouch! Then, a delicate hum came into Wu Tong's ears. Hearing this sound, Wu Tong immediately came back to his senses and looked carefully. He saw a girl in a blue dress lying on the road in front of him. Rongrong? Why are you lying on the ground? Get up quickly. Looking at Ning Rongrong lying on the ground, Wu Tong hurriedly walked to her side, leaned over and pulled Ning Rongrong up from the ground. By the way, he was very considerate and patted the dust off her body. Ning Rongrong felt Wu Tong's big hand patting her body, and her pretty face was immediately stained with a touch of red. Afterwards, Ning Rongrong remembered what Wu Tong had said just now, and hurriedly stopped Wu Tong's actions, then rolled her eyes at him. Brother Wu Tong, don't you know why I'm lying on the ground? Wu Tong was standing in front of Ning Rongrong, and naturally he would notice the girl's rolling eyes. Chapter 480, Encounter with Little Fangirl Ning Rongrong. So, after hearing Ning Rongrong's words, combined with the eye roll just now, Wu Tong immediately thought of the weak impact just now. So, Wu Tong asked uncertainly, could it be me? Who else could it be if not you? Brother Wu Tong is the only one around here, right? Ning Rongrong heard Wu Tong's uncertain words and offered Wu Tong a pair of sanitary balls again. Ning Rongrong didn't expect that she just saw Wu Tong on the way to the cafeteria. She thought about coming over to say hello to Wu Tong and inviting Wu Tong to have a meal together. Unexpectedly, Wu Tong seemed to have not seen her running over. He bumped into her and knocked her to the ground. Now he's still acting like nothing happened, pretending to be a thief crying catch thief. After hearing Ning Rongrong's words, Wu Tong looked around. Hey, there are really only two of them around here. So it seems that Ning Rongrong might have been bumped by him. After realizing this, Wu Tong quickly opened his mouth and apologized to Ning Rongrong. Sorry, Rongrong, I was so absorbed in thinking about something that I didn't notice you coming over. Before Wu Tong finished speaking, Ning Rongrong smiled and stopped Wu Tong from saying the next thing. Don't apologize, brother Wu Tong. I know you didn't mean it, so I didn't take it to heart at all. After stopping Wu Tong from apologizing, Ning Rongrong's heart suddenly itched when she thought of Wu Tong's deep thought and his complete disregard for the surroundings. So she looked at Wu Tong and asked curiously, by the way, brother Wu Tong, what were you thinking about just now? You were so absorbed in thinking about it. As for Ning Rongrong's curiosity, Wu Tong decided to satisfy it directly. After all, with his current strength, he was not invincible in the world, but he had almost no rivals in the Douluo realm, so there was no need to hide it. Besides, it was no big deal to tell other people about these things. Even if they were spread, it would only enhance his reputation and would not do him any harm at all. Moreover, Ning Rongrong was Wu Tong's playmate since childhood, and Wu Tong had always known the feelings that Ning Rongrong had for him. To be frank, as long as Wu Tong was willing, Ning Rongrong would not hesitate to devote herself on the spot, and might even be very excited. After all, this was what she had always dreamed of. Therefore, when facing Ning Rongrong's question, Wu Tong did not hide anything, and told Ning Rongrong everything he had just done in his thoughts. What? Brother Wu Tong, did you just destroy the God realm? After hearing Wu Tong's explanation, Ning Rongrong's mouth opened slightly, shocked. That's the God realm? One world, countless gods. Her brother Wu Tong just destroyed him like that? How powerful would Wu Tong's current strength be? He could actually destroy the entire God realm alone. As expected, she knew that her brother Wu Tong must be the most powerful. Wait, alone. Suddenly, as if she realized something, Ning Rongrong hurried to Wu Tong's side, and her hands kept groping and looking through Wu Tong's body, as if she was looking for something. While groping, Ning Rongrong asked nervously, did you get hurt when the God realm was destroyed? Where did you get hurt? Was it serious? Seeing Ning Rongrong's worried look, Wu Tong's mouth corners suddenly raised a little arc. Rongrong is still the girl who only cares about him. Feeling the little hands wandering around on his body, Wu Tong's heart was directly filled with an irresistible impulse. So, in order to avoid making mistakes, Wu Tong quickly reached out and grabbed Ning Rongrong's hand, stopping her from continuing. After Wu Tong grabbed her hand, feeling the warmth from Wu Tong's palm, Ning Rongrong's face first turned slightly red, and then she looked at Wu Tong with a puzzled look. "Brother Wu Tong, what are you doing?" Wu Tong met Ning Rongrong's puzzled eyes and began to explain. "I'm fine. A small divine world can't do anything to me. How could it possibly let me get hurt?" Hearing this, Ning Rongrong patted her chest and immediately breathed a sigh of relief. "That's great, Brother Wu Tong. I'm glad you're okay." After that, Ning Rongrong seemed to remember her indecent behavior just now, and immediately stuck out her tongue and said, "I was just too worried about you just now." So, seeing Ning Rongrong's quirky look, Wu Tong couldn't help but shook his head and smiled bitterly. "Okay, you little girl has satisfied your curiosity, so now, it's time to satisfy my curiosity, right? Ask ahead, I'll tell you everything I know." Hearing that Wu Tong had questions to ask her, Ning Rongrong immediately patted her chest and acted as if to say, "Just ask, I will definitely satisfy your curiosity." Seeing this, Wu Tong did not hesitate and asked directly, "Rongrong, what do you want to see me for?" That's it. Ning Rongrong was stunned when she heard Wu Tong's question. She didn't expect that Wu Tong would just ask such a simple question. This made Ning Rongrong, who had prepared all kinds of intelligence information in her mind, suddenly feel like she had taken off her pants. "But you said you had your period." Ning Rongrong felt very uncomfortable. Hearing Ning Rongrong's words, Wu Tong looked at her with a puzzled look. "What's wrong with this question? Can't you answer it?" Hearing Wu Tong's question, Ning Rongrong immediately came back to her senses and waved her hands. "Nothing. The reason I came to find you is because I just saw you on the way to the cafeteria, so I thought of coming to ask you to have dinner together." Hearing Ning Rongrong's plan, Wu Tong immediately nodded in understanding. So that's it. Ning Rongrong's idea was exactly what he wanted. So, Wu Tong looked at the girl in front of him, suddenly reached out and held her hand. In the incredible and shy eyes of the girl, he smiled and said, "Since it is your invitation, Rongrong, how can I refuse?" "But how can you, a girl, speak for such a thing? Let me do it." After that, Wu Tong took Ning Rongrong's hand, kissed it gently, and then invited, "Beautiful lady, I wonder if I can invite you to dinner together." "Of course, sir." Feeling Wu Tong's gentle treatment, Ning Rongrong smiled slightly. Chapter 481, The Small-Minded Snake, The Great Onmyoji Mobius. In the same tone filled with aristocratic etiquette, she responded softly, "Haha, let's go eat." After receiving the response, Wu Tong laughed loudly, and then he no longer hesitated. With a big wave of his hand, he took Ning Rongrong's hand and walked towards the canteen. When Ning Rongrong saw that Wu Tong did not let go of her hand, a strange color flashed in her eyes. Then she followed Wu Tong step by step without making a sound or struggling, and walked towards the canteen together. Tonight, the night is still long. Maybe, what she has been dreaming of can be achieved tonight. The next day. A large red and gold round mirror, all the clouds and mists are gone, and the sky is clear and the weather is beautiful. In the Yulanku Fengshu house. Wu Tong woke up from his sleep, stared at the ceiling for a while, and relaxed his body for a while. Then he climbed up from the bed gently without disturbing the girl lying next to him. After getting up, Wu Tong stood by the bed, looking at the brown-haired girl lying on it, and couldn't help but smile. Then, Wu Tong gently raised his hand, took the quilt that fell to the side, covered the girl, and then quietly left the bedroom, letting the girl continue to rest. But what Wu Tong didn't know was that the next second after he closed the door, the brown-haired girl, who had originally closed her eyes, opened her beautiful big eyes. "I actually succeeded last night." After feeling the pain from somewhere in her body, Ning Rongrong's face was full of happiness. But last night, Brother Wu Tong was so shy. Then, Ning Rongrong blushed as if she remembered something, and then she wrapped her body with a quilt and rolled over shyly on the bed. Girls' thoughts are the hardest to guess. Let's not talk about Ning Rongrong, who doesn't know what she is thinking. Let's turn the camera back to our protagonist Wu Tong. After Wu Tong walked out of the room, he went straight to the bathroom. Wu Tong came out of the bedroom and went to the bathroom, washed up, and dressed up. After changing into a black cross-collared gown with bamboo leaves embroidered in gray thread, he left the Yulanku Fang tree house. Since the problem in the God realm has been solved, the next thing can no longer be delayed. Although those things are not very important, they must be done immediately. As for rest? Wait until everything is ready, that's the time to really rest. At that time, even if Wu Tong falls asleep, no one will care about him. Therefore, first bitter and then sweet, first diligent and then slow, that's Wu Tong's plan. Passing through the purple bamboo forest planted when he was bored some time ago. Ignoring the purple bamboo leaves falling in the wind, Wu Tong kept walking towards the laboratory behind the treehouse. As a result, Wu Tong just opened the door of the laboratory and hadn't walked in yet. A weird voice came directly into Wu Tong's ears. "Hey, isn't this our busy Wu Tong? How come you have time to come here today? I don't have a place for you to sleep here." Hearing this familiar voice, Wu Tong almost immediately determined that it was the voice of Mobius. However, hearing this sarcastic tone, Wu Tong couldn't help but complain helplessly in his heart. "Here it comes again, didn't I accidentally cheat you some time ago? Is it necessary to hold a grudge for so long? Obviously, when Alicia cheated you, you just let it go. Why do you hold a grudge against me?" The fact is that some time ago, Wu Tong was in superpower saving mode, lazy cancer, and he was not interested in any sports activities. When Alicia knew about this, she came directly to the door. According to her meaning, Wu Tong should not be so lazy, at least he should go out for exercise. But how could Wu Tong, who is in superpower saving mode, be willing to go out for exercise? So Wu Tong, who was annoyed by Alicia, told Alicia a white lie. Alicia believed Wu Tong's lie and stopped looking for him, which made Wu Tong spend a few days in comfort. But later, someone leaked the news and Alicia knew the truth. Then the development of things can be imagined. Wu Tong did not have a peaceful life for a period of time. After being tortured for a few days, Wu Tong, who was forced to collapse by Alicia, immediately complained to Alicia, "I say, Mobius often stays in the laboratory and doesn't exercise much. Why do you always come to me? Otherwise, you can deal with Mobius first." Wu Tong, "Mobius, I'm sorry, I'll have to inconvenience you for a while. After all, it's better to die than to die." Then, under Alicia's argument, Wu Tong made a promise that as long as Alicia brought Mobius, he would go to exercise together. After Alicia got Wu Tong's promise, she also made a decisive decision and shifted her target from Wu Tong to Mobius. After all, as long as Mobius was dealt with, it would be equivalent to dealing with Wu Tong together. Such a cost-effective deal, Alicia would naturally not let it go. Coincidentally, she also wanted Mobius to go to exercise together, to play with her. After Alicia shifted her attention to Mobius, she naturally had no time to care about Wu Tong, which also allowed Wu Tong to live a peaceful and tranquil life. However, there is a saying, misfortunes are the source of blessings, and blessings are the source of misfortunes. Wu Tong lived comfortably, but she also offended Mobius, a petty woman. Therefore, after Mobius learned from Alicia that he was suffering because of someone, this woman completely got into trouble with Wu Tong. Every time the two met, Mobius would first output a yin and yang sarcasm, and then he would ridicule Wu Tong and make trouble for him. In short, he expressed to Wu Tong an attitude of, "As long as you are not doing well, I am happy to suffer losses even if I suffer losses." It fully explains the saintly principle of only a little woman is difficult to raise. So, the grudge between the two was formed like this. Even to this day, Mobius is still like this, with no sign of wanting to ease up. After coming to his senses, Wu Tong looked helplessly at Mobius, who had walked in front of him, sighed softly, and then said, Chapter 482, Promise, Forgiveness. Mobius breaks into Star Railway. Dr. Mobius, that incident has been over for so long, there is no need for you to continue to investigate it, right? Hearing Wu Tong's words, Mobius's snake pupils narrowed slightly, and a barely perceptible cold light flashed in his narrowed eyes. No need to investigate it? How is this possible? Do you want to just let it go after you cheated me? How can it be so easy? You are probably not aware of how much grudges snakes can bear? Hiding his emotions, Mobius pretended to have forgotten it a long time ago, and showed Wu Tong a fake smile. Haha, what are you talking about? I have forgotten about that incident a long time ago. This fake performance made Wu Tong feel helpless. You said that even if you are pretending, you should pretend to be more professional, okay? Do you really think I can see it? However, Wu Tong also knew Mobius's attitude, and thought to himself, Tisk, you are so narrow-minded. It seems that I have to find something that this guy is interested in as an apology. Otherwise, if I continue to be targeted by this petty guy, I don't know when I will be cheated. By the way, hey, what is our busy man thinking about? Thinking so deeply? Are you not thinking about whether there is any place for me to rest? Seeing Wu Tong silent, Mobius continued to be sarcastic. As long as Wu Tong did not get her forgiveness, she would have only one attitude towards Wu Tong. I will be sarcastic when I should be sarcastic, and I will continue to be sarcastic when I should be sarcastic. Anyway, I just want to make sure that Wu Tong will not have an easy life. Alice Wu Tong sighed helplessly after listening to Mobius' sarcastic words. Then he said in a leisurely tone, "How about this? I agree to let you go to the Starry Sky World and meet those geniuses you have always been interested in. Can you forgive me now?" Although Mobius's sarcastic words could not hurt anyone, it did annoy Wu Tong. In addition, Wu Tong originally planned to take a precautionary measure in advance to prevent herself from being cheated in the future. So after thinking for a while, Wu Tong was too lazy to continue arguing with her, and directly took out the request that Mobius had always made to him as a trump card to let Mobius let him go. Really, hearing Wu Tong's words, Mobius didn't care about continuing to quarrel with Wu Tong, and immediately looked at Wu Tong with a sharp eye. Did she hear it right? Wu Tong, this guy, actually agreed to let her go to the Star Iron World? You know, she often mentioned this proposal to Wu Tong before, and at that time, Wu Tong directly refused it. This time he actually agreed directly? And the price was just to let herself forgive him. Hiss, is there a trick here? Really? Looking at Mobius's suspicious eyes, Wu Tong suddenly felt a little hurt. What kind of image does he have in Mobius's heart? Is he so untrustworthy, Mobius? Mobius, he, a guy who has cheated me several times, actually dares to ask me if he has credibility with me? Mobius, ah shit, Wu Tong continued, how about it, can you forgive me? Mobius smiled brightly when he heard it. Of course, I forgive you. Then he changed the subject and asked impatiently, by the way, when will you send me there? Are you so anxious? Wu Tong looked at Mobius's impatient look and couldn't help asking puzzledly. When Mobius handed in the request letter before, he was not so anxious. Why is he so anxious today? What he didn't know was that because he had rejected Mobius' request many times, Mobius became more eager for the Star Iron World. This is a typical rebellious psychology. I will do whatever you don't let me do. In addition, Mobius was afraid that Wu Tong was just on a whim and would regret it after he realized it, so he seemed so anxious. Mobius answered without hesitation, of course, I want to go to that world, I'm going crazy. Hearing this, Wu Tong also said helplessly, okay, prepare an absolutely quiet environment for me, and then I will send you there immediately. An absolutely quiet place. Hearing Wu Tong's words, Mobius' eyes flashed with inspiration, thought for a while, and then said, I got it, come with me. After that, he turned his head and walked into the laboratory. Seeing this, Wu Tong turned his head and closed the door of the laboratory, and then hurriedly followed Mobius's footsteps. While walking, Wu Tong followed Mobius and passed through one door after another, door and door, door and door and door. After passing through dozens of doors, Mobius took Wu Tong to the door of a secret room. After seeing the door, Mobius said, we're here. This room is a lounge I built, it's in a corner of the laboratory. No one comes here on weekdays. Although it's a little remote, it's definitely quiet. And the things inside are quite complete, so, as he spoke, Mobius looked at Wu Tong and blinked, his eyes flashing, and the meaning was self-evident. Even an idiot would be able to see what Mobius meant. Okay, I know. Wait a minute. Seeing this, Wu Tong waved his hand helplessly, and then said something to March 7th in the chat group. Then he put Mobius into a storage space that can store living things, and then put the storage space into a red envelope, and then sent it to March 7th. After doing everything, Wu Tong opened the door in front of him and stepped into it. It's time to start the retreat. There are still many tasks to come, the position of the Lord of the Douluo world, the refining of the small god realm, the formulation of the rules of the small god realm, the compilation of the Shinto techniques, the list of people who should be deified, and the acceleration of world exploration. All these troubles, one by one, must be solved by him, after Wu Tong entered the retreat. On the other side, the Star Iron world. The Star Dome train is still shuttling between the stars. After hearing what March 7 said, all of them were very tacit, and surrounded March 7's train group, waiting eagerly for March 7 to bring people out. You know, this is the person sent by the famous chat group Mr. Wu Tong. How can they not be curious? Chapter 483 The Daring Snake. Among the group of people who were eagerly waiting, the strongest emissary, The joyful emissary Akavali, and the joyful star god Ahoho were the most active. Little Sanayu, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Let the person out quickly. I'm so anxious. Yes, little Sanayu, let the person out quickly. Don't let the person get suffocated. Ahoho also wants to see what kind of person Wu Tong, the kid, can send over. Listening to the urging of the two, Sanayuki rolled her eyes silently in her heart. So annoying. These two troublemakers who like to watch the fun and don't mind the big trouble. However, Sanayuki did not refute what the two said, and she also planned to let the person out. Anyway, it has to be released, the sooner the better. So under the gaze of the onlookers, Sanayuki opened the chat group red envelope without hesitation and took out the storage space in the red envelope. The storage space was opened, and Mobius, who had been waiting for a long time and was a little impatient, was released. Huh? I'm finally out. It feels so bad to be there. Is this the Star Iron world? Mobius, who had just emerged from the storage space, stood firm and complained about the feeling of being put into the storage space. Then, with a fanatical look on his face, he began to observe the surrounding environment. Trash, trash, March 7th, trash, Jizzy, Zing, trash, Walter, trash, damn hang soon. Mobius took in the crowd around her. However, when she moved her eyes to the two men with a locomotive head and a masked head, Mobius's eyes turned red directly, as if she saw something she had longed for, and she could no longer look away. As a scholar, observing materials and organizing data information in advance has long become Mobius's instinct. Therefore, ever since Mobius had the idea of going to the Star Iron world, she had already started to make various preparations for this journey, including learning about the news of the Star Iron world. It is precisely because of this that although Mobius has never been to the Star Iron world, she knows a lot about this world. So after seeing the two star gods, Mobius' eyes lit up immediately. Look what she found. Two precious sample materials, star gods, and they are out-of-print samples, the kind that only exist. If this can be dissected because Mobius's eyes were too scorching, the two materials, the two star gods almost didn't have to work hard, and guessed Mobius's plan from Mobius's eyes. Akaveli and Aha, this woman who just came here wants to dissect herself. After realizing this, Aha immediately burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, interesting, really interesting. I didn't expect that the person sent here was a fanatical scientist. You actually want to dissect the star god? Dissect the star god? Aha, I'm so embarrassed, but this is so much fun. Arha ha ha on the side. After hearing Arha's words, everyone looked at Mobius, who had not yet retracted his eyes, with an unbelievable look. After seeing Mobius's eyes that had not yet been retracted, everyone immediately understood that what Aha said was true, so they all complained in their hearts. This woman, is she a lunatic? What is she thinking? She actually thought about dissecting the star god. This kind of idea, I'm afraid that those geniuses would not dare to have it. Doesn't she know the power of the star god? Well, it seems that she really may not know. The brainstorming session had not been running for long, and many unknown guests thought of Mobius's identity as an outsider. So, everyone immediately understood, but even so, they still looked at Mobius with a look of looking at a warrior. After all, no matter what, Mobius has done something that they would never imagine in their lifetime. Just for this reason, she deserves this praise. Alice, she is really worthy of being called a snake. This kind of crazy idea, I guess only people like them can have it. Not far from Mobius, Lao Yang pushed his glasses and looked at Mobius with emotion and surprise. As a person who has experienced the plot of Honkai Impact 3, Lao Yang missed a lot of things, but later he made up for all those things that should be made up. Among them, the magnificent stories of the 13 heroes of Chasing Fire are naturally no exception. So, from the moment he saw Mobius, Lao Yang immediately recognized that this woman should be the one from the previous civilization, Dr. Mobius, who pioneered the fusion warrior surgery. After recognizing Mobius, Lao Yang, who knew the extent of Mobius's madness, naturally understood that Mobius really wanted to dissect the star god. After realizing this, Lao Yang immediately cast a look of admiration at Mobius. Regardless of whether she knew the power of the star god or not, she deserved his admiration just for her idea. On the other side, after Aha laughed for a while, he gradually stopped laughing. He controlled an orange mask beside him and floated to the side of Mobius. While circling around Mobius, he showed a mean smile. Yes, Aha agrees to let you dissect it. As long as you can catch this mask of mine, You can dissect it, how about it? Are you tempted? Then come and catch me, if you catch me, I will let Aha. Hearing Aha's mean words, Mebius' eyes lit up immediately. That's what you said. Mebius naturally knew that it would not be so easy for her to catch this mask. However, this good opportunity is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If she missed it, she would definitely regret it. Therefore, after getting Aha's promise, Mobius didn't care about Aha's sly smile. While Aha was talking, he reached out and grabbed the mask at the side at lightning speed. But the Aha mask, who was talking, didn't react at all. Before he had time to dodge, he was caught by Mobius. Huh? Is it that easy? After getting it, Mobius looked at the mask in his hand and was stunned. When the other people who were watching on the side saw this scene, they were also stunned. No, I told you to catch it, and you really caught it. Chapter 484, Akivali's Regret. Aren't you afraid that this is a trap? You are too crazy, aren't you? Nanook is not as brave as you. And Aha. You were actually caught? Aha, when did you become so lame? Or are you teasing that woman? Hey, wait a minute. Could it be that Aha wants to experience the feeling of being dissected? Realizing this, everyone's faces became strange. If it was other star gods standing in front of them, everyone would naturally not have this idea in their hearts, but Aha is not a normal god. In the cognition of the endless creatures in the universe and galaxy, Aha, the god of fun, no matter what he does, it is extremely normal. After all, he is a guy who can do anything for fun. So who knows, Aha really might want to experience the feeling of being dissected. Thinking of this, everyone couldn't help but envy Mebius. This is the god of dissection. And it was the star god who took the initiative to ask for the solution. This kind of opportunity, I'm afraid it's not the only one in the universe and galaxy, right? While everyone was puzzled, Mebius was not idle. After coming back to her senses from the surprise, Mebius took a look at the mask in her hand. Without hesitation, she took out the best and sharpest scalpel in her hand from her stored ring. The operation began. Then, Mebius held the scalpel and gestured at Aha's mask, as if looking for a place to start. Huh? Aha, who was standing aside, was also stunned when he saw that his mask was directly caught by Mebius, and then he immediately reacted. It can be seen that someone is playing tricks in it. Otherwise, with Mebius's speed, how could he catch himself? Why? Is it just because of her identity as a visitor from another world? So, after eliminating all the wrong options, the remaining answer can only be the correct answer. There is only one possibility for Mebius to get his mask, that is, someone helped her. As for who helped her, Aha said, I can guess it even if I use my butt to guess. Among the people present, who else has this ability besides his good brother, his strongest commander Akivali? Who else dares to plot against him? But even if he knew that Akivali was making trouble, Aha didn't care. After all, in his opinion, this unexpected scene was also too fun. Therefore, after seeing Mebius holding a scalpel and stabbing at his mask, Aha not only did not stop it, but came directly to Mebius, and enthusiastically taught Mebius how to better pierce into his mask. Here, it's easy to start here, right, that's right, it's here. If this scene was seen by other people, they would definitely be shocked and speechless. After Aha's mask was robbed, instead of being angry or annoyed, he was guiding the person who robbed his mask and dissecting his mask. Do you dare to believe this? Well, I really dare to believe it. After all, it is well known that Aha can do anything without any sense of disobedience. So, when seeing this scene, everyone was not surprised, but shook their heads helplessly and said, Aha, you are worthy of it. It's really for fun that you can do anything. Mobius did not argue with Aha, but listened to Aha's instructions and stabbed the scalpel in his hand towards the place where Aha pointed, trying to make a gap. Then follow this gap and break the surface with a point to open the whole mask. However, there is a saying that goes, if you want to do your job well, you must first sharpen your tools. The scalpel in Mobius's hand is not enough to cause any damage to the body of the star god. Even if her scalpel is the best, sharpest and hardest scalpel in the current stage that she has collected various precious materials during this period and asked Wu Tong to refine it, it will not work. After all, the gap between a scalpel made of precious materials and the body of a star god is countless times greater than the gap between an egg and a stone. Therefore, even if Aha took the initiative to guide Mebius and found the weak point of the mask to attack, it would be useless in the end. Ding! A crisp sound suddenly rang out as the scalpel and the mask touched. Once this crisp sound sounded, it was lingering, echoing in everyone's ears for a long time. Then, the scalpel in Mobius's hand was forced to bend because of excessive force. Mobius looked at the scalpel with a rolled blade in his hand, and then looked at the intact aha mask in front of him. Alice, as expected after a long silence, Mobius sighed helplessly and put away the scalpel in his hand. Ahahaha. Seeing this scene, Aha was stunned at first, and then immediately let out a shrill laugh. This unexpected ending is really too fun. Don't say I didn't give you a chance. Even if I gave you a chance, you'd be useless. Failed? Alice, what a pity. Seeing this scene, Akivli on the side couldn't help but flash a trace of regret in his eyes. This is a good opportunity to deal with Aha, this hiding thing. Why didn't this little girl seize it? It would be great if Aha's mask was really dissected. In this way, I would have a topic to laugh at him in the future. What a pity. Blame me, blame me. If I had known that this girl didn't have the right tools, I would have prepared one for her. But it's useless to think about these things now. After all, such a good opportunity has passed. Thinking of this, Akivli sighed again. Although Akivli's sigh was small, wasn't the person present a fate traveler who had embarked on a fateful journey? So naturally, he heard Akivli's sigh. Therefore, everyone cast a strange look at Akivli, who still had a look of regret on his face. Akivli, I didn't expect you to be such a star god. No wonder you can play with that cowardly thing. Aha. Akivli, are you talking about God? Akivli doesn't understand, ignoring the group of people who were staring at each other. Mobius looked at the Aha mask in his hand, and then looked at Aha, who was laughing happily at the side. Chapter 485, Explain Your Intentions, Beggar version of life solidification technology. Laugh. What the hell, laugh? If it were an ordinary person, he would have been sweating profusely under Mobius's death gaze. But who is Aha? He is the star god of joy. How could a guy who can do anything for fun give up fun so easily just because of a person's eyes? So, Aha ignored Mobius's gaze and continued to have a lot of fun. After a long silence, Mobius looked at Aha, who was still laughing. He clenched his fist, and then loosened it again. There was no other way. She was just a small fusion warrior. She couldn't let a fusion warrior who had difficulty even exploding a star, go to fight with a star god who could destroy the galaxy with a wave of his hand, right? You want to die, but she doesn't want to die yet. And as expected, Aha laughed even more happily after seeing this scene. After a long while, this absurd farce finally ended with the interference of Akivli. Aha laughed for a long time, and when he saw that Mobius had no reaction, he immediately understood that Mobius would no longer bring him fun. As for the boring Mobius, Aha naturally had no interest in him, so he left without interest. When his friend Akivli saw Aha leave, he first welcomed Mobius on behalf of the Star Train, and then left with Aha. There was no way, he didn't want to. However, Aha, this coward, had done too many things during this period of time. If he didn't follow that guy, he would always feel uneasy. So it's better to follow him, otherwise, he was really afraid that he would be beaten up by several star gods when he walked on the street one day. Seeing that the two bosses had left, a group of unknown guests also welcomed Mobius, and then dispersed. There was no way, they didn't want to face such a crazy scientist. Do you think Mobius, who dared to dissect even the star gods, would dare to do it to them? Therefore, in order to prevent being targeted by someone, Mobius, a group of unknown guests resigned and left this creepy place. After the unknown guests left, the carriage, which was originally crowded with people, immediately became empty. In the carriage, only Mobius, who was not in a good mood, and the original train group were left: GZ, Lao Yang, Dan Heng, Sam Yuki, Xingbao, and Pam, the train conductor who was not seen just now. Short legs, haha. Dr. Mobius, do you have any plans to come to this world? After a while, Lao Yang asked Mobius cautiously. It's impossible not to be cautious, this is a crazy scientist. And it's a notorious one. Compared with those who don't understand scientists, Lao Yang, who has a scientist wife, is very cautious about this kind of people. After all, this kind of genius has a very strong ability to make trouble. Oh, isn't this Walter? Mobius glanced at old Yang, who had spoken, but did not explain his purpose. Instead, he looked at old Yang with interest. Why didn't I think of it just now? Being able to travel from the collapse II world to the starry sky world, This guy is also a precious little white mouse. Thinking of this, a scorching light suddenly appeared in Mobius's eyes. Damn it! Being stared at? Old Yang, who had been staring at Mobius and did not dare to relax at all, naturally saw the light in Mobius' eyes, and his heart tightened immediately. Does Dr. Mobius know me? Have you forgotten? We have met. Oh, by the way, I saw Walter from our world, and you should belong to the future timeline. Well, it's our first meeting. Mobius heard Walter's question and was about to answer, but halfway through, he realized that the man in front of him was not the same person as the leader of the Anti-Entropy Alliance he had met at the beginning. Hearing this, Old Yang was immediately confused. What did Mobius mean? At this time, Sanayuki, who was standing by, saw Old Yang's look and hurriedly reminded him in a low voice, Uncle Yang, Sister Mobius is talking about the time period of Sister Fuhua in the group. Oh, that's it. After hearing Sanayuki's reminder, Walter finally reacted. Mobius looked at this scene, chuckled, and looked at Old Yang again with a burning gaze. Then he began to explain his plan to come to this world. Don't worry, I'm not interested in you. That's not necessarily true. Hearing this, Old Yang thought of Mobius's gaze just now, and couldn't help but secretly complain in his heart. Mobius naturally didn't know what Old Yang was thinking, and continued, I came to this world to ask for advice from the geniuses in this world's Genius Club. Although it was to ask for advice, the sharpness in the words was felt even by the nervous Zinga. Everyone was shocked after hearing what Mobius said. Old Yang didn't bother to think about how he was targeted. He looked at Mobius in disbelief, and began to roar wildly in his heart. Didn't you collect information when you came to this world? Do you know what kind of monsters those guys in the Genius Club are? Yes, I know you are a monster who knows everything, but the geniuses here are also unreasonable monsters. Although the achievements of fusion warrior surgery and overweight transformation, artificial collapse, are amazing, this technology is not enough for you to challenge those geniuses. What on earth are you thinking? Old Yang began to complain wildly in his heart. After a moment, Lao Yang organized his words, and then said in a tactful tone, Dr. Mobius, you may not know who the geniuses in the Genius Club are. Before Lao Yang finished speaking, Mobius interrupted him, I know, I learned about this world before I came here, and I may know more about the achievements of those geniuses than you. After Mobius said this, Lao Yang didn't care about nitpicking, and looked at Mobius in disbelief and said, you know? Then you dare to go to them. Why shouldn't I dare? If I were born in this world, I might have achieved their achievements. When saying this, Mobius was very confident. She firmly believed that if she was born in this world, she would definitely become one of them, and even surpass them. That's true. Hearing Mobius's confident words, Lao Yang nodded immediately. He never doubted this. Mobius is a person who knows everything by nature, a true genius. If he is exposed to that knowledge in this world, it is not impossible for him to become a genius. And it's not just Mobius. The geniuses born in the Earth civilization, May, Velvi, Einstein, pre-civilization era, Otto, also have the possibility of joining the Genius Club. Ignoring Lao Yang's interruption, Mobius continued, and I am not the same as before. I studied with Wu Tong and gathered the knowledge of many worlds in one. I said, so that's it. The case is solved. Hearing this, Lao Yang suddenly understood. He was just shocked by what Mobius said, but he forgot that the Mobius in front of him was sent by Wu Tong. This means that Mobius has actually studied with Wu Tong. And Mobius, who was originally a genius, must have really grown up after learning the knowledge of many worlds collected by Wu Tong. In other words, the Mobius in front of him is an ultimate and complete Mobius who has gathered the knowledge of many worlds and has grown up thoroughly. With her talent and the knowledge of several worlds, she might be able to compete with those geniuses. It was not only Lao Yang who realized this, but others also thought of this, so everyone looked at each other and saw the meaning in each other's eyes. It seems that a new genius is about to be born. At this time, Xing, who had been listening and not speaking, had bright eyes and acted as a supporting role very politely. Wow, so amazing. Then can I see your research results? Sister Snake, Sister Snake? Hearing this familiar name, Mobius glanced at Xing with a smile. Then he said, of course. After that, Mobius took out a transparent glass vial from the stored ring. The vial was cylindrical, with metal wrapped at both ends, which sealed the contents tightly inside. In the central part of the vial, there was a particle floating, flashing and emitting a faint light. Huh? What is this? It can actually glow. Xing looked at the glass bottle in Mobius's hand and asked curiously. Seeing this, the others also cast their curious eyes towards Mobius, their eyes full of expectation. You know, this is a creation created by a genius scientist who can be compared to geniuses. How can they not be curious? Facing the expectant eyes of the crowd, Mobius did not keep them in suspense and began to explain. A life? Hearing this answer, a big question mark suddenly appeared on everyone's forehead. A life? What the hell? At this time, Sanayuki suddenly looked at Mobius as if he had thought of something, and hurriedly asked, "Are you talking about life solidification technology?" Sanayuki remembered very clearly that some time ago, after Hizai completed the task of saving Jibachin, the chat group and the space-time administration gave her 2 rewards. One of the rewards seemed to be the life solidification technology from the ultra-multiverse, which was said to be able to extract the concept of a life and then use it to resurrect the dead. So after hearing Mobius say that this was a life, Sanayuki immediately thought of this technology. But isn't this Sister Hizai's reward? Why did Mobius say that this was her achievement? And she remembered that Wu Tong didn't seem to care much about this technology at that time. When did he trade with Hizai? You also know about the life solidification technology, Mobius asked in surprise. Sanayuki said, of course, isn't this technology the reward for the task that Sister Hizai gave some time ago? I remember the function of this technology. It seems to be able to extract the concept of life, and then use it to revive the dead. When the others heard the news, they were immediately surprised. Although they already knew that there were 2 resurrection props, the resurrection coin and the entanglement fate, when the other resurrection prop appeared again, everyone couldn't help but admire it. Wow, so amazing. Xing was also amazed at the power of the life solidification technology. Then she reacted. She looked at March 7 with some surprise and said, Sister Hizai's mission reward? But isn't this Sister Snake's technology? The effect is the same, the name is the same, but the source is different. At this time, Mobius interrupted March 7 and said, this is my life solidification technology based on the Ultra Multiverse. It combines the research on the power of resurrection coins, life force, destiny force, soul force and other special powers. In addition, it is the research on special bloodlines such as ghosts, soul beasts, dragons, and angels. During this period of time, I researched the life solidification technology beggar version by myself. My highest masterpiece at this stage, although it is slightly inferior to the real life solidification technology, it can still resurrect some people with weak strength. After explaining, Mobius sighed and said, I originally planned to tell Wu Tong and others about this matter after it was perfected for a while, to shock them. Unexpectedly, man proposes, God disposes. I just came up with a beggar version of life solidification technology, and your chat group has the real life solidification technology. Sure enough, the chat group, an organization that can span the world, has an unexpectedly rich background. At this point, Mobius couldn't help but envy those people who could join the chat group. They were really lucky. When the people on the side heard what Mobius said, they were already shocked. What did they hear? Mobius actually developed the life solidification technology based on the creativity of special effects? Is this a genius? He is always able to do such miraculous things. Sure enough, geniuses are creatures that cannot be judged by common sense. Oh my God, is this true? Sister Snake, you actually developed the technology for resurrection? You are so handsome. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 486, New Genius Mobius, Group Mission, Redemption of the Earth. Xing exclaimed, and then looked at Mobius with admiration. She made up her mind to build a good relationship with the woman in front of her. If so, she might not even want to die in the future. Hetty Walter, who was standing by, looked at Xing's silly smile and instantly understood her thoughts. In this regard, Walter's evaluation was, Xing, you are such a wise genius. You know, for a crazy scientist like Mobius, others can't even hide, and this kid actually dared to take the initiative to approach him. It's really Alice hearing Xing's words. Mobius also came back from his thoughts. However, in the face of Xing's admiration, Mobius just smiled bitterly and waved his hands, saying, the research is done, but what's the use of it? It's just a waste of effort. Originally, she was quite proud of this technology, but now it seems that she is proud of nothing. What is there for her to be proud of? This technology has long been available in the chat group, and it is more complete and better than her technology. And she was actually planning to be complacent and take this to Tong to show off. When he thought of the embarrassing scene at that time, Mobius couldn't help but shudder. Oh, forget it, let's not talk about this. The more we talk about it, the more uncomfortable we feel. Let's get back to our topic. With a sigh, Mobius decided not to think about this problem anymore. After all, the more he thought about it, the angrier he got, and the angrier he got, the more uncomfortable he felt. So for the sake of his own mood, he should give up on further investigation. When the others heard what Mobius said, combined with the previous conversation, they immediately understood that Mobius was not in a good mood at the moment. So after looking at each other, they all tacitly changed the subject. After a moment, GZ asked, "Then, do we need to send you to the Black Tower space station?" "Miss Mobius, if you want to find a genius, Ms. Black Tower on the Black Tower space station should be the easiest to find. After all, her doll is always there, so it's quite convenient to contact her." "Well, I'll leave it to you." Hearing GZ's words, Mobius nodded gently. She had no opinion on GZ's arrangement. After all, what GZ said was not wrong. The group of geniuses in the Genius Club ran around in the universe all day long, and their traces were elusive. In addition, some geniuses did not have a fixed residence, some geniuses did not like to contact outsiders, and some geniuses had already fallen. It was harder to find the only dozens of geniuses in the Genius Club in this vast galaxy than to find a needle in a haystack. So the best way is to find those geniuses with a fixed base, and then contact other geniuses through those geniuses. This is the best solution. Therefore, in general, the Black Tower space station, which is closest to the train set and filled with many Black Tower dolls, is indeed the best place to go. Thinking of this, Mobius couldn't help but sigh. "Alice, if I also join the Genius Club, then I'm afraid it won't be me who goes to find them, but they who come to find me halfway through." Mobius's tone suddenly stagnated, and he looked down at the solidified life particle in his hand. After seeing that he was still holding the life particle tightly in his hand, Mobius frowned and couldn't help but murmured in a low voice, "Wait, something's wrong. I've taken this thing out for so long. Why hasn't that iron lump Oshizan come to find me? Is the threshold of the Genius Club so high now?" In her calculations, the life solidification technology she brought out should be enough for her to join the Genius Club. But why hasn't Boshizan sent her an invitation? Could it be that Boshizan didn't notice it? It seemed that because of the mention of the name of Boshizan, when Mobius thought of this, he suddenly felt that he was being stared at by a cold and mechanical gaze. Then, that gaze was cast on the solidified life particle in his hand. The emotions in the gaze gradually changed from appreciation to surprise, shock and other emotions. After a moment, Mobius only felt that his consciousness was suddenly summoned by some great existence, leaving his body, infinitely rising, and wanting to go to an unknown place. Well, it's coming, but it's a bit slow, feeling the concepts of wisdom, truth, analysis, exploration, etc. that can be observed in this attraction. Mobius smiled, revealing two sharp snake teeth, and immediately understood that Boshizan had come. So Mobius gave up resistance and let his consciousness be pulled to Boshizan. Others also saw that when Mobius was halfway through speaking, he suddenly stood there in a daze. Moreover, a magnificent force of destiny suddenly emerged from his body. Is this the power of destiny? Xing, who had already received several destinies and was already very familiar with the power of destiny, immediately exclaimed when he saw the power bursting out from Mobius. The power of destiny? Was Mobius glanced at by the star god? No, if he was glanced at, it wouldn't take so long, and there wouldn't be such a huge power of destiny. Old Yang, who was puzzled at the side, figured out the situation after hearing Xing's exclamation, and couldn't help but exclaimed in a low voice, "In that case, there is only one possibility. Was he summoned by the star god?" That's right, with Mobius's potential, he would have aroused the interest of Master Boshi. Plus, now she has taken out this technology that can create miracles, so it is natural for her to be invited by Master Boshi. It seems that the Genius Club will soon have a new member. Upon hearing this, GZ couldn't help but exclaimed, not only that, the wisdom and destiny will probably have one more envoy. Upon hearing the praise from Old Yang and GZ, Xing immediately put her hands on her hips, looked at March 7 with pride and said, "Isn't it amazing? My sister. March 7 looked at Xing's actions and couldn't help but said speechlessly, Xing, you are so shameless. When did I agree to be your sister? Xing said as a matter of course. Just now, Sanayuki asked in confusion. Just now? When? Why didn't I see it? Just now I called her sister Snake, and she didn't refuse. Doesn't this mean she agreed to be my sister? Xing looked at Sanayuki with a look of shock, as if to say, how could you ask such a question? How? When people are speechless, they really laugh. Sanayuki can finally understand the meaning of this sentence now. Because she also laughed when she was speechless. The others beside him were speechless for a while after hearing this. Okay, now it seems that Miss Mobius should need some time. Let's withdraw first and don't disturb her. Jizzy rolled her eyes at Xing, who was making fun of her, looked at Mobius, who still hadn't woken up, and suggested. Well, okay. Okay, Sister Snake, we'll leave first. You guy, hurry up. For Jizzy's words, the others did not refuse, and they set off directly and left the carriage happily. He gave the carriage to Mobius, who was meeting with the star god of wisdom. After leaving the carriage, Xing looked at the others and couldn't help asking, what's next? What are we going to do? Dan Heng suddenly said, next, we're ready to go. Xing, let's go to the Black Tower Space Station. Great, Black Tower Space Station, we're back. Hearing Dan Heng's words, Samyuki cheered immediately. If it was before, Samyuki might be very happy to return to the Black Tower Space Station, but definitely not so happy. But now it's different. Since the train team became hated by everyone in the universe because of Machiavelli, only the Black Tower did not despise them and invited them to visit the Black Tower Space Station. Black Tower, hey, train team, Star God, come on. So, for Samyuki, the Black Tower Space Station can now be regarded as a long-lost paradise. Other forces, attention, the Star Dome train has been detected. All are on alert. Attention, this is not a drill. Attention, this is not a drill. Seeing the passionate look of March 7, Pam was also infected and said excitedly, next stop, Black Tower Space Station. Pam, half a quarter of an hour later, with a stream of light flashing in the starry sky. The Star Dome train turned into a stream of light and moved towards the direction of the Black Tower Space Station. And the next second after the Star Dome train left, dozens of figures emerged from the void. Looking closely, people from all major forces are there. People from the company, the family, the ferry boat, Fengrio, the tavern, and the major forces in the universe of Yiding, all of them are there. After all the figures appeared, they just looked at each other, and then took out their respective communication equipment and reported the movement of the train to their respective forces. There is no way, Machiavelli and Aha have done too many things these days, so the major forces have to be on guard. After the report, it is natural to settle the grudge. Xia and Hao found Fengrio, old enemy. The company found the Galaxy Hunter. Other forces found the tavern. Other forces, no choice. If you want to blame, just blame Aha. Let's talk about two things. Just as the Star Dome train set was heading towards the Black Tower Space Station. In the Dimension Chat group. Huishan Gentleman Sword, Mr. Wu Tong, the things from Dali and Shaolin have been delivered. I will send them to you now, please receive them. Huishan Gentleman Sword, specified red envelope, secrets, group prompt, Administrator Seeker has received a red envelope. One of the administrator's permissions, automatically receive red envelopes, available when not online. Buyeo Billion, so fast? Lao Yu. Buyeo Billion, it's only been a few weeks, right? Huishan Gentleman Sword, of course, you know they have the handle in my hand, so they naturally dare not deliver it quickly. Passerby, by the way, after the things were delivered, did you release your Erniang and Dunyanking? As soon as Menshi Katoya said this, the others all frowned. This was also what they were concerned about. Although it was an ancient rule to pay money and get goods, they still didn't want to let the two go so easily. Of course, the most important thing was that they didn't want to let Erniang go. After all, the sins committed by this woman were simply too numerous to list. Huishan Gentleman Sword, let them go. Yu Buquan also understood what the others meant, so after he answered Menshi Katoya's question, he immediately added a sentence. Huishan Gentleman Sword, but don't worry, they were released only after their cultivation was abolished. They won't have the ability to harm people in the future. Biju, abandoned? That's great. Fanjin Yi, abandoned cultivation? Fanjin Yi, oh, then these two guys are miserable. Meng Wang, huh? Why? Rimuru couldn't help but wonder when he saw Yihei's words. Don't believe the poor young man, because they are useless. Useless people waste so many resources. Why do you think they have become miserable? Mortal leaf, that's right. You can imagine that the Shaolin Temple and the Dali dynasty exchanged so many secret books for two ordinary people. Mortal leaf, if they were still masters or innate, they might still survive. After all, they still have some value. Mortal leaf, but if they become useless, it means that they have completely lost their value. Unwavering billion, in this case, whether it is to keep their mouths shut or to vent their anger, these two people have no chance of surviving. The three of them went back and forth, and in a few words, they guessed the ending of Yang and Duan Yanking. The other group members couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Lazy angel, phew, that's good, they should have died long ago. Bully spider, good and evil will be rewarded in the end, and the law of heaven will be rewarded. Unwavering billion, oh, the little spider can also say this? Bully spider, actually I have been particularly interested in Chinese culture recently, so Peter was about to explain, but before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by a sudden reminder sound. Group reminder, alert. Alert. It has been detected that the life of group member Earthwill is in danger. An emergency task has been issued. Please sign up. Seeing this sudden scene, everyone stopped chatting tacitly and opened the task interface at the same time. Chat group task, rescue group member Earthwill, task type, rescue task. Task details. The expansion of the sun in the world of the new chat group member Earthwill suddenly accelerated and is now approaching the eruption stage. Chapter 487 Yihei, you can call me Yishayandi, I can bear it. Please go to the world of Earthwill as soon as possible to help those who are able to rescue. Mission requirements, rescue group member Earthwill and ensure the personal safety of group members. Note, this mission is optional, and group members can choose whether to participate. Mission time limit, 1 day. Note, when executing the mission, the time of the plane where the group members are located is frozen. Please do not worry. Mission reward, array of the origin of the world, 5 million group points Chiun immortal. The expansion of the sun is intensifying. How could this happen suddenly? Moki Xiaonian Kaiong, I don't know. But now is not the time to discuss these, we have to set off quickly. Moki Xiaonian Kaiong, you know, that's 5 million points, plus array of the origin of the world. Moki Xiaonian Kaiong, the chat group is so generous this time, it's really rare. Photo G, the reward is good, but do you have the ability to get it? Your strength is not enough to solve this problem. Moki Xiaonian Kaiong, look, aren't you looking at people with colored eyes? Little Sanayu. Don't believe the poor young man, why do you assume that I can't solve the problem of the sun's expansion? Photographer? Photographer, you don't mean to say that you have a way to solve the problem of the sun, do you? Photographer, stop it, Xiao Yanzi. Photographer, things like the problem with the sun require at least the peak of the 5th level, or even the early 6th level to solve. Photographer, as for you, forget it. Don't believe the poor young man, humph, 30 years in the east, 30 years in the west, don't believe the poor young man. Don't believe the poor young man, I'm really going to disappoint you. Don't believe the poor young man, I really have the ability to solve this problem. Photographer, looking at the message sent by Xiao Yan, Senyuki couldn't help but fall into silence. Isn't this situation wrong? The famous scene of 30 years in the east, 30 years in the west, don't believe the poor young man, why did you come to me instead of looking for Nalan Yanran? Xiao Yan, are you poisonous? Buyao Bilian, no way? Xiao Yanzi, are you lucky again and got some treasure? When Zhang Qiulin saw Xiao Yan's message, he couldn't help but think of the Luotian Grand Ceremony not long ago. At that time, this kid was also like this, pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger, and suddenly showed them the solar magic that he had secretly drawn, which scared everyone. So when he saw Xiao Yan's message again, Zhang Qiulin immediately subconsciously thought that Xiao Yan had got something good on the chat group again. Don't believe the poor young man, ahem, that's not the case. You know the probability of the group lottery, how can you draw good things so easily? Don't believe the poor young man, the solar magic last time, but I spent nearly 100,000 points to draw the only good thing. Don't believe the poor young man, but this time, I do have the ability to participate in it. Don't believe the poor young man, do you want to know why? Photographer, I want to. March Nods JPG. Bully spider, I want to. March nods JPG. Don't shake the green lotus, I want to. March nods JPG. Don't bully the poor young man, ha ha ha. Guess. A leaf from the mortal world, Dragon King spraying water. Okay, stop playing around, explain it quickly. Guruli saw this and quickly interrupted the conversation. If they continue talking, Xiao Yan, this kid, will probably offend everyone. And now there is no time for these guys to make trouble anymore. Don't key the poor boys. Well, the truth is this, don't key the poor boys. Some time ago, I asked Brother Tong to help me deduce the three things, the Burning Decree, the Sun Magic Power, and the Red Wheel Heart Sutra. Don't key the poor boys. Then I spent some money and asked him to merge these three exercises into a new practice method, the chapter of the Way of the Sun. Don't key the poor boys. The chapter of the Way of the Sun is a method specifically used to practice fire attribute energy and sun attribute energy. Don't key the poor boys. With this method in hand, I can quickly refine those yang and fire attribute energies. Don't bully the poor young man. In addition, I just entered the realm of the first level Divine Ring Master some time ago, and I have a divine ring that can devour and transform external energy. Don't bully the poor young man. Under the double guarantee, although it cannot solve the problem of the sun's explosion, it is still no problem to suppress the sun. Don't bully the poor young man. Even if I am given enough time, I can really devour a sun directly. Dragon King spraying water, devouring yang attribute energy. Dragon King spraying water. In this case, this solar explosion is still a good thing for you? Don't bully the poor young man. Don't shake the green lotus. Damn, another cheater. Lazy angel. Damn, I didn't expect that there was a secretly inward-looking Lao Liu in the group. Surprised. Lao Liu is always by my side. JPG. Lazy angel. There must be other people in that group, and their situation is similar to Xiao Yan, right? Dragon King spraying water. Huh? Where did you come up with this conclusion? Lazy angel. This comes from the famous Lao Liu's law. You know, when you find that there isn't Lao Liu next to you, then you may have been surrounded by Lao Lius. Dragon King sprays water. Although it feels a bit strange, it also feels reasonable inexplicably. What's going on? Mortal world leaf, mortal world leaf. Why haven't I heard of this theory? Mortal world leaf, and why do I feel like you're making me look like a cockroach? Lazy angel, be alert. JPG. Lazy angel, the second old 6 has appeared. Mortal world leaf, damn it, don't use only to describe me. Mortal world leaf, fangs roared. JPG. Dragon King sprays water. Hey? What's wrong with you? Mortal world leaf, mortal world leaf. Regarding this point, please allow me to introduce myself again. Mortal world leaf, I am a cultivator of the realm of the heavens, 6th order early stage cultivator, divine ring master, 4th turn divine ring master, heaven covering method, peak of the secret realm of the wheel sea, peak of the other shore realm. Hey. Fanjin Yi. Of course, if you want, you can also call me Yishayandi, I can bear it. Fanjin Yi, proud. JPG. Don't key Xiaonian Kaiong, early stage of level 6. Explosive star power. And a bunch of thief prefixes. Don't key Xiaonian Kaiong, are you cheating? Fanjin Yi, aren't you the same? Xiao Yanzi, don't laugh at 100 steps when you can only take 50 steps. Photographer G, really? So fast? When did you become level 6? Fanjin Yi, that's a long story. Buyao Bilion, let's make it short. Fanjin Yi, okay, to put it simply. Chapter 488. Accept the mission and set off. Fanjin Yi, it was some time ago that I set foot on the ancient road of the starry sky. Fanjin Yi, after arriving at the ancient forbidden land, I collected a lot of resources and exchanged a lot of points. Fanjin Yi, then I used those points to exchange for the ability of the predator. Fanjin Yi, then, through the ability of the predator, I devoured a lot of precious medicines from the ancient forbidden land, and with the 9 wonders immortal medicine, my cultivation of the divine ring master directly broke through the 4th level and possessed 4 divine rings. Fanjin Yi, then, through the 4 divine rings and the devouring and transformation ability of the predator, I devoured and transformed the various precious treasures collected, and successfully activated the ancient holy body. Fanjin Yi, then, I switched to practicing the heaven covering method, and then I ate and practiced all the way. Fanjin Yi, then some time ago, I suddenly stepped into the early stage of the 6th level. Buyao Bilion, sure enough, A high world level is good. Zhang Yulin looked at the history of Yihei's rise and couldn't help but sighed. He finally understood that Yihei's rise was entirely due to the precious resources of the ancient Holy Land, plus the abnormal characteristics of the Divine Ring Master system that only needed resources to quickly become stronger. If his world also had such abundant resources, he could also replicate Yihei's rise. Dragon King spraying water, is the Divine Ring so powerful? Fanjin Yi, of course, after being promoted to the first turn Divine Ring Master, I knew the abnormality of the Divine Ring Master system. Fanjin Yi, let's put it this way, a Divine Ring Master with a Divine Ring and without a Divine Ring are completely two different realms. Moqi Xiaonian Kaiong, that's right, after being promoted to the first turn Divine Ring Master, my strength also began to advance by leaps and bounds, and I reached the late stage of the 5th level some time ago. Moqi Xiaonian Kaiong, damn it, if I had known that breaking through the Divine Ring Master could quickly become stronger, I would have practiced the Divine Ring Master system first. Fanjin Yi, it's not too late now. Isn't it a good opportunity in a while? Moqi Xiaonian Kaiong, that's right, a son. At least a dozen more Divine Rings are needed, right? Red Kite Immortal, Fu Hua narrowed her eyes when she saw Yihei's words. Divine Rings? It seems that I have been a little slack during this period. It's time to work hard. Dragon King sprayed water, okay, is there anyone else? Silence. Seeing this scene, Guruli was not disappointed, but quietly breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that there are not many people who are secretly rolling inward in the group. In this case, I feel relieved. After all, I am not the only one who is playing badly. Dragon King sprayed water. In this case, those who want to sign up should sign up quickly, complete the task first, and talk about other things later. Do not bully the poor young man, okay? Fanjin Yi, no problem. Xianji King, then I will go and have a look too. As soon as Guruli finished speaking, 3 people who are capable of solving this problem jumped out immediately. Then, group reminder, group member, do not bully the poor young man, has accepted the group task, please go to rescue as soon as possible. Group reminder. Group member Fanjin Yi has accepted the group task, please go to rescue as soon as possible. Group reminder, group member Xianji Wang has accepted the group task, please go to rescue as soon as possible. With a sound of 3 voices, this rescue mission officially began. Dragon King spraying water, don't forget to start the live broadcast. Don't bully the poor young man, okay, don't worry. When they were about to set off, Xiao Yan, who saw the message from the group owner, replied and then set out on the road to rescue, promote, and help raise the group members' strength. Wandering Earth World. Original Asia, on an iceberg in China. Accompanied by a familiar white light flashing. Xiao Yan, wrapped in a black robe, Yihei, wearing the monk's clothes of the Big Dipper star region, and Zai, wearing a short skirt with silver armor. The figures of the 3 suddenly appeared on the iceberg. After Xiao Yan saw the 2, he was about to say hello, but his feet slipped and his figure stumbled. After Xiao Yan stood still, he found that he and others had appeared on an iceberg. Actually on an iceberg? The landing place this time is not very good. I almost slipped. If I really slipped, then your name as the Emperor of the Flame would be ruined. Yihei, who was standing aside, heard Xiao Yan's complaint and couldn't help but start to tease. Xiao Yan smiled helplessly. This is not a reaction. Who knew that the location where the chat group was teleported this time was actually on ice? I heard Xiao Yan's words, looked at the surrounding environment, and then smiled and said, Xiao Yanzi, it seems that you are not very compatible with this world. You know, in this world, it seems that there is no place without ice. After Zai finished speaking, Yihei and Xiao Yan were stunned for a moment, and then their eyes couldn't help but look around. Looking around, a vast expanse of white spread across the entire world. At a glance, no matter who it was, they could feel the desolation and coldness of this world. Has the earth in this world become like this? It's really full of disasters. Is it really all ice? It seems that my compatibility with this place is really not that good. But then again, no matter how it changes, this is still Earth, and there is still compatibility. The 2 looked at this familiar yet strange world and couldn't help but sigh. Looking at the sentimental appearance of the 2, Zai was about to tease them, but he felt a strange message coming. After Zai interpreted it, he found that this message was actually the urging of the Earth's will, please help me solve the problem of the sun as soon as possible. After reading it, Hizai interrupted the two people's sighs. Haha, that's enough, there is no time for you to sigh, let's get to work. The employer is starting to urge. Hearing Hizai's words, the two were stunned at first, and then the message appeared in their minds. It was the urging message from the Earth's will. Seeing this, Zhaoyan spread his hands and said, well, I was planning to go for a walk and see this world first, but I didn't expect the Earth will to be so anxious. Oh, is there anything I can do? The sun is about to explode. It would be strange if we are not in a hurry. Let's work first. After we get rid of the sun, we will have plenty of time to play. He looked up at the sky and saw the restless sun and the clearly visible solar prominence near the sun. He chuckled and said, okay, you are right, let's get started. Zhaoyan nodded and then turned on the group live broadcast. He did not forget that he had just promised the group leader to start a live broadcast. Chapter 489, Emperor Yan's Journey to Save the World. Group reminder, group member, don't bully the poor young man. Open the live broadcast room. Emperor Yan's Journey to Save the World. Everyone come and visit. As the live broadcast room opened, less than a second passed. Dozens of group members who were already a little impatient entered the live broadcast room, one after another. Group reminder, group owner Dragon King Spraying Water has now joined the live broadcast room. Group reminder, group member Buyao Bilion has now joined the live broadcast room. Group reminder, group member Lazy Falling Angel has now joined the live broadcast room. Group reminder, group member Bully Spider has now joined the live broadcast room. Soon, except for Wu Tong who was in seclusion and had no time to pay attention to the chat group, all other group members entered the live broadcast room opened by Zhaoyan. As a result, as soon as they entered, everyone was shocked by the current appearance of the Earth. Lazy Angel, the name of the live broadcast room is quite narcissistic, unshakable. Is this the wandering Earth? It looks really desolate. Dragon King Spraying Water, yes, it was already very uncomfortable to watch it in the movie, but seeing it in reality is even more dead silent than in the movie. Unshakable, isn't this natural? How can a work performed with special effects be compared with the actual situation in reality? Photographer, this planet looks like your Lilo VI. At first glance, it's all white. Tragedy, it seems that the Wandering Earth plan has already begun. Otherwise, the Earth would not have become this kind of ice and snow planet. Cute King, the sun not far away seems to be still clearly visible. It seems that the Earth hasn't run far. Lazy Angel, I have to say, the people in this world are really miserable. They haven't run far, but the sun is about to explode. The members of the live broadcast room were attracted by the pale sky and Earth when they saw the Wandering Earth for the first time, and they began to discuss it one after another. The three people who were on the mission had no time to pay attention to these things. They were all ready to rush to the vicinity of the sun and prepare to carry out the mission. However, at their current speed, it would take several years to reach the vicinity of the sun, right? After realizing this, Zhaoyan and Yihei, two smart people, immediately turned their eyes to the eye on the side. Hizai? Being suddenly stared at by the two people, Hizai's forehead suddenly had several question marks. Hizai was not a person who liked to beat around the bush, so he directly met the two people's side and looked straight over. What do you two want to do? He X2. The two looked at Hizai, smiled, and after looking at each other, they said together, Sister Hizai, please, open a door. Yes, Sister Hizai, if we just rely on flying, at our speed, it will take several years, so that's it. Hizai immediately understood after hearing what the two said. But that's not right. If I remember correctly, thinking of something, Hizai's face suddenly showed a strange look. Zhaoyan, if I remember correctly, your martial spirit seems to be called the Breaking Boundary Gate, right? You told me you can't get through. Zhaoyan was silent for a while, and then he told his situation with a strange look. Sister Hizai, have you forgotten? I'm only at the 5th level, not even at the planetary level. Hearing this answer, Hizai immediately reacted. Yes, according to Zhaoyan's current 5th level late stage cultivation, he is not yet able to step out of the planet, and he certainly can't build such a long portal. Haha, okay, then let's set off quickly. I'll open the door. Hizai, who realized that he had said the wrong thing, smiled awkwardly, and then changed the subject in a stiff tone. After that, Hizai made a move. Then, a light blue space wormhole connecting their location and the sun next to them immediately appeared in front of the three people. Looking at the wormhole, Zhaoyan and Yihei immediately forgot about the embarrassing scene just now, and rushed in with excitement. Hizai saw this and hurriedly followed. Kuja, Advanced transition sound effect. As the three crossed the wormhole, they felt that the scenery in front of them changed, and then the three came to the sun. Wow, I have to say, although I have seen the hugeness of the star when Brother Tong pulled the star a few days ago, but I didn't expect that after seeing it with my own eyes, it would be a different feeling. Xiao Yan felt the energy gradually boiling in his body, and looked at the star in front of him with fiery eyes, and couldn't help but sighed. Indeed, seeing it with your own eyes and seeing it through the picture give people a different feeling. Yihei also looked at the huge sun in front of him, feeling the temperature coming from the surface of his body, and also sighed. Okay, I'm used to it. What's so good about it? Seeing the two country bumpkins who had never seen the world, Hizai waved her hand and urged them, aren't you two going to try to deal with the sun? If you don't do it, I will. Xiao Yan and Yihei looked at each other and said in unison, don't worry about this little thing, Sister Hizai. Yes, Sister Hizai, leave this little trouble to us, you just need to support us. Hizai rolled her eyes, why don't you hurry up? Okay, the two nodded and then released their martial arts spirits. Through the gate, with a light shout, a soul seal appeared on the back of Xiao Yan's right hand. Then, in his palm, a silver white door engraved with mysterious runes, like a work of art, slowly emerged. As the small door appeared, a dazzling golden light, like a star-shaped divine ring, slowly rose from Xiao Yan's body. The blazing golden light emanated from the divine ring, coating Xiao Yan's image with a layer of sacred light, making him look like a god or a demon, like a god descending to the earth, dazzling and sacred, with 1,000 feet of brilliance. The Dragon King sprayed water. Wow, this appearance is beautified. The Dragon King sprayed water, but no matter what, it really lives up to the standards of the Douluo system. No matter what the strength is, the image must be high-end. The Dragon King sprayed water. I also want to decide. I want to quickly improve the realm of the Divine Ring Master System and obtain the Divine Ring as soon as possible. I also want to pretend. I also want to be beautiful. Chapter 490, The Peerless Grace of the Divine Ring Master. Tragedy. Who doesn't want this thing? It can absorb and convert all kinds of energy without limit. I guess my strength will improve faster after I have the magic ring. Photographer, so cool. Take a picture of this style JPG, Chenchi Xian'ao. Is this the magic ring? It can actually convert all kinds of energy? The wonderful mechanism contained in it is really mysterious and wonderful. Ancient holy body. With a light shout, Yihei's body gradually spread out golden light, and soon covered Yihei's entire body, turning into an eternal and indestructible golden body. Yihei's martial soul is his body, which is the so-called body martial soul. If the body martial souls possessed by other people are already 1 in a million, then Yihei's body martial soul can be said to be truly invincible. After all, Yihei's physique is the ancient holy body in the world of shrouding the sky, which can challenge the emperor as long as it is perfected. With the ancient saint body as his martial soul, Yihei's heaven covering system and divine ring master system directly formed a wonderful connection that complemented each other. If one grows, the other will also advance by leaps and bounds. It can be said that if Yihei was not afraid of the saint body's heavenly tribulation, he would have dared to use the divine ring to directly pile the ancient saint body to the great perfection realm in the ancient forbidden land, and he would not be so aggrieved there. But it is not too late now. After swallowing the sun in front of him, the divine ring can condense dozens of divine rings at least. By that time, he will no longer be afraid of the saint body heavenly tribulation. He can directly swallow the heavenly tribulation. By that time, after returning to the heaven-covering world and successfully surviving the tribulation, the next step is I don't eat beef. Thinking of this, Yihei looked at the sun in front of him with a touch of eagerness and desire. God ring out, as a cold voice sounded, one golden ring after another, a total of 4 god rings, slowly emerged from Yihei's body. 4 golden divine rings surrounded his body, and the golden light radiated from them directly set off the holy body light on Yihei's body, making it more dazzling and sacred. From a distance, Yihei's golden figure was like a small golden sun next to the sun, supreme and noble, supreme and sacred. In the live broadcast room, seeing the image of the two at this moment, even the Earth Will who was diving couldn't help but exclaimed in admiration. Earth Will, wow, so handsome, I don't know when I can build a divine ring. Dragon King spraying water, Dragon King spraying water, you are finally willing to talk, Dragon King spraying water. If it weren't for the group members taking action today, I guess you would still plan to continue diving, right? Earth Will, sorry, I wanted to say hello to everyone a few days ago, but I was too scared a few days ago and forgot about it. Seeing the Earth will say this, the others looked at each other in surprise. Wasn't that the incident of Wu-Tong destroying the God realm a few days ago? Thinking of the scene where Wu-Tong turned the sun into a divine spear and blasted the divine world with one shot, everyone felt a little uncomfortable and said quickly, Buyao Bilion, it's okay, we understand this matter, we understand, after all, we also did something wrong Photographer G, yes. Don't worry about those things Photographer G, since everyone will be companions in the future, let's get to know each other. Hello, my name is March 7. Of course, you can also call me Little March, everyone calls me that, Dragon King Spraying Water, I am the group leader Guruli, welcome to join, Mother Earth, Earthwell, thank you everyone. Seeing what everyone said, the pure Earth, which had just been born not long ago, was immediately fooled by the group members and forgot what happened a few days ago. And just when the live broadcast room was harmonious and happy. Passerby, didn't you notice what it said just now, Cute King, what? Isn't it about when to cultivate the God Ring, Lazy Angel, the Earth can cultivate? And what it cultivates is the God Ring Master System, which is really unheard of, Lazy Angel. By the way, if the Earth has a God Ring, coupled with the propulsion of the planetary engine, will it become a planet devourer? Passerby, your imagination is too big, right? But this possibility is indeed not ruled out. Dragon King Spraying Water, to be honest, I actually want to see what the God Ring of the planetary will looks like. Dragon King Spraying Water, by the way, it won't be as big as the Star Ring, right? Buyao Bilion, it's hard to say, but what is certain is that with the God Ring, the Earth will definitely become one of the strongest forces in the group. On the other side, Xiao Yan and Yihei didn't pay attention to the movement in the live broadcast room. And they looked at each other's current appearance. You are so handsome, Xiao Yanzi. If you're on Earth, you would be so attractive that. It's time to start. Xiao Yan looked at the divine ring that had already reached the vicinity of the sun, murmured, and then sat cross-legged in the void. After Xiao Yan sat down, his mind moved, and countless divine runes on the divine ring bloomed with dazzling brilliance. Then, as if a huge machine was instantly started, the divine ring began to continuously devour the violent energy of the sun. Countless divine runes were running together. Chapter 491, Benign Growth of Snowball Divine Ring. All the violent sun power was converted into absorbable, gentle yang and fire energy. Then the converted energy was directly transmitted to Xiao Yan's body. After feeling the endless two energies gushing out of his body, Xiao Yan did not hesitate to start his new technique, the Great Yang Dao chapter, and began to absorb and refine the huge energy. As Xiao Yan refined it, the cultivation level of the God Ring Master in his body was also rising rapidly at an extremely terrifying speed, and soon, it reached the point where the second God Ring could be condensed. Xiao Yan was not surprised by the situation. After all, the God Ring Master system is like this. As long as there is a God Ring as a converter, it can be rapidly improved with sufficient resources without any side effects. In layman's terms, if Xiao Yan can collect enough resources, he can even directly increase his own power to the multiverse level, which is easy. Damn, it's rising so fast, looks like I have to get started too. Yihei, who was standing by, watched Xiao Yan's Divine Ring Master's cultivation level continue to rise. Now that he has even begun to be promoted to the second level Divine Ring Master, he immediately did not care to continue to wait and see, and hurriedly crossed his legs and sat quietly in the void of the universe. Then, as Yihei's mind moved, 4 dazzling golden divine rings, like Xiao Yan's divine rings, also rose countless divine runes on the surface. However, perhaps because Yihei's strength was stronger and he had more divine rings, the divine rings absorbed the power of the sun more fiercely. The 4 divine rings directly transformed into sun pumps and turned on the storm suction mode towards the rioting sun. The sun naturally had no ability to resist, so the energy in its body was sucked wildly, vigorously, and fiercely by Yihei's divine rings. As the power of the sun continued to flow into his body, Yihei soon experienced the feeling of Xiao Yan's rapid improvement in the cultivation level of the Divine Ring Master system. The energy in the body is rapidly increasing, and increasing. Feeling the rapidly increasing energy in the body, even with Yihei's mentality, he couldn't help but feel a sense of expansion for a moment. Isn't this too cool? No need to feel, no bottleneck, no need to worry about thunder tribulation. As long as there is enough energy and resources, the cultivation can be infinitely improved. Sure enough, the God Ring Master System, you are my God. Wait, this feeling is about to break through. Not long after practicing, Yihei felt that under the feedback of the power of the sun, his God Ring Master cultivation has been further promoted to 5th turn God Ring Master. After the promotion, Yihei directly condensed the 5th God Ring, and then threw the newly appeared God Ring directly onto the sun not far away. The God Ring quickly expanded, and then turned into a siphon device that swallowed the sun, transferring the energy of the sun to Yihei's body continuously, improving Yihei's God Ring Master cultivation. Similarly, Xiao Yan did the same. Just like that, Yihei and Xiao Yan, right under the eyes of Hezai and everyone in the live broadcast room, showed them how to make the Divine Ring Master System absorb energy, condense the Divine Ring, increase energy absorption, and speed up the benign proliferation process of condensing the Divine Ring. In the live broadcast room, photographer, mortal leisurely wanderer, red kite immortal, earth will, everyone was shocked by this scene. Everyone in the live broadcast room just watched Yihei and Xiao Yan quietly. Watching them use the Divine Ring to continuously absorb the power of the sun to improve their strength, and then condense the Divine Ring, and then throw the Divine Ring onto the sun to increase the energy absorption rate, and then improve the strength of the Divine Ring Master at a faster speed in a benign cycle. Everyone was shocked beyond words, and for a moment they even forgot to speak. After a moment, Guruli, who came to her senses, immediately went crazy. The Dragon King sprays water. Ah! So powerful, so powerful. Is this the speed of improvement of a Divine Ring Master after possessing a Divine Ring? The Dragon King sprays water. It is absolutely powerful. This speed of improvement is like a snowball. It is simply amazing. The Dragon King sprays water. Sure enough, Divine Ring Masters with Divine Rings and those without Divine Rings are completely two different creatures. The Dragon King sprays water. I don't know how much their strength can be improved after this mission. Photographer, 1, 2, 3, right? How come they are getting faster and faster with practice? Tragedy, because the more you practice, the more Divine Rings you have, and the stronger you are. And the stronger you are, the more Divine Rings you have, which means the faster the absorption speed becomes. So this leads to the phenomenon that they practice faster and faster. Tragedy, I have to say that what Wu Tong said at the beginning, that the Divine Ring Master System can be directly promoted to the 9th level on the spot as long as there are resources, this sentence is really not bragging, Buyao Bilion, it is actually possible to improve with energy. Sure enough, this Divine Ring Master System created by Brother Tong is simply a bug, mortal leisure. From a universal rational point of view, this development is indeed beyond my expectations. Lazy fallen angel, controllable God Ring fusion? My God, reality is really too dreamy. Not only the group members in the live broadcast room were frightened by the two. The people on the fleeing Earth were also shocked by the actions of the two. Wandering Earth Command Center. Great Elder, the test results are out. According to the research and observation of Dr. Liu and others, as the two people absorb, the riot of solar energy is gradually decreasing. If they can absorb at this speed, maybe the sun will slowly stabilize, and even the expansion of the sun will probably calm down completely. A young man in military uniform, holding a stack of information, handed the information to the old man in front of him, and said excitedly. The old man took the information, flipped through it for a few times, and then cast his eyes on the screen in front of him. On the screen, it was the three figures near the sun, one emitting a blazing golden glow, one was covered in golden light, and the last one was a woman with wings on her back, like an angel. Looking at these three, as soon as they appeared, they wiped out the materialistic concepts that they had believed in all these years. The old man murmured a few words. Who are you? How can you have such great power? Chapter 492 Earth's Response, The Great Elder's Decision. Could it be that there are really gods in this world? Then, the elder recalled what the young officer said about Dr. Liu's speculation and research. Will the ride of solar energy gradually calm down? The experience accumulated from many years in a high position allowed him to almost instantly understand the young officer's current thoughts. It was nothing more than, since the solar problem has been solved, let's just give up the wandering plan. I can only say that the idea is good, but he is still too young. The old man sighed, then shook his head slowly, and said to the young officer, okay, I know, notify them. The Wandering Earth plan will continue as usual, no matter who they are. We can't entrust our hope of survival to a few people who we don't know whether they are enemies or friends, but no matter what they are for, They have provided us with precious time, so we should make good use of this hard-earned time. Order them. The Wandering Earth plan will continue as usual. Everything will be done according to the original plan, and we must speed up and leave the solar system as soon as possible. After all, we can't make any more mistakes. The young officer, who was still confused, couldn't help but look solemn. Especially when he heard the old man's last words, the young officer's expression changed, and he suddenly woke up. The elder is right. Entrusting the hope of survival to others, and a few people who are unknown to each other. What a stupid person can make this decision. How can they entrust their lives to others? Their own lives must be controlled by themselves. So, the moment the old man finished speaking, the young officer saluted directly in return, and then said firmly, "Yes, great elder, I will pass on your request right away." After that, the young officer bowed to the old man, and then walked out the door. Bang! The door was closed, and the voice of the young officer could be vaguely heard from outside the door. The great elder said that the Wandering Earth plan should continue and speed up and leave the solar system as soon as possible. Inside the door, the great elder, who was sitting on a chair, did not pay attention to the voice coming from outside. Instead, he continued to look at the screen in front of him, at the figures on the screen, and kept murmuring, "Thank you, whether you are gods, immortals, or aliens. Although I don't know why you want to help us, we, the people of Earth, will definitely remember your kindness in our hearts." The elder kept expressing his gratitude, and in his heart he also felt that he had survived a disaster and was very scared. God knows how desperate the elders were when they were informed by Dr. Liu and others that the expansion of the sun was intensifying and they might not be able to escape the solar system. For the Wandering Earth project, the entire Earth has almost exhausted everything, abandoning relatives and friends, abandoning the surface, abandoning their hometown, solar system, and abandoning everything. It is just to gamble everything and fight hard, because only in this way can they have a chance to pass on the civilization of the Earth. But unexpectedly, man's calculations are not as good as God's. The speed of the sun's expansion suddenly accelerated. At their current speed, they can't even escape the solar system. This sudden change made them feel that everything they did seemed to be meaningless. Under this huge gap, the elder once had the idea of giving up directly and dying. But at this time, Xiao Yan and the other two appeared. The action of the three swallowing the energy of the sun provided a precious opportunity for the Earth to escape. So, no matter where they came from, no matter whether they were enemies or friends, no matter why they swallowed the energy of the sun, they all saved the Earth, which is an indisputable fact. So no matter what, all the Earthlings should not forget this kindness. Xiao Yan and the other two who were far away from the sun, and the people in the live broadcast room, did not know the coquettish operation made by the Earthlings, still carrying out the Wandering Earth plan. They were still observing the practice of Xiao Yan and Yi He. At this time, the sun was already covered with countless divine rings. Countless divine rings were densely packed and airtight, covering the entire surface of the sun. All the divine rings worked together, continuously absorbing the energy emitted by the sun, turning it into the cultivation of Yi He and Xiao Yan, and improving the strength of the two divine ring masters. Then let the two of them use the improvement of their cultivation to condense new divine rings, and then continue to put the new divine rings into the snowball process of absorbing the power of the sun. By the way, it is worth mentioning that among these divine rings, only 1/5 belongs to Xiao Yan, and the other 4/5 are all Yi He's. Yi He is strong and has many divine rings, so his starting point is high, and a high starting point means a fast cultivation speed. The faster the cultivation speed, the more divine rings are condensed, the stronger the strength, and the faster the rate of energy absorption. In this way, the stronger the strength, the faster the cultivation speed, and the faster the speed of condensing divine rings. Therefore, Yi He's divine rings are so much more than Xiao Yan's. Under such crazy absorption and refining, the energy from the sun's riot was gradually absorbed by the two of them, which also made the sun's riot gradually subside. So soon, when Xiao Yan and Yi He were obsessed with cultivation, I was obsessed with recording data, and the group members in the live broadcast room were silent and eating melons. The danger of the Earth was so confused and easily solved. As the crisis on Earth was resolved, the next second, the system's prompt arrived on time. Group prompt, detected group task, rescue group member Earth will, has been completed. Now issuing rewards, group members Fenchen Yi, don't despise the poor young man, Xianji King, each of whom will receive 5 million points, plus array of the origin of the world. The group task is over, and the remaining stay time of group members is 10 minutes. Please prepare to return in advance. Countdown, 10 o'clock, 9:59, 9:58. Hearing this sudden voice, everyone came back to their senses. Xiao Yan first stopped the operation of the Zhi Yang Dao chapter, slowly calmed the agitated divine power fluctuations in his body, and put away his own divine ring. Then he opened his eyes and looked at the two people on the side, and asked with a puzzled look, "It's over?" So simple, he didn't seem to feel how long it took. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 493 Mission completed, Return. How did the problem suddenly get solved? You know, he hasn't absorbed enough. Hearing this, Yihei shrugged and said, "It's obvious. After all, we have absorbed so much of the sun's energy. If we look at the fluctuations in the sun's energy, there won't be any riots for at least several decades. In this way, there will be enough for the Earth to escape from the solar system." So, Xiao Yan heard Yihei's explanation and understood how they completed the task. So he spoke directly and said the second half of Yihei's guess. "So our task is completed like this." Yihei nodded, then chuckled and said, "This is my guess. Although I don't know the specific reason, it should be about the same. You're right. The real situation is almost the same as your guess." I heard what the two said, entered the chat group, looked at the group announcement, nodded, and confirmed Yihei's guess. Hearing this, Xiao Yan complained with a depressed look on his face, "Damn, I didn't expect that a task of this level could be solved so easily. But I haven't absorbed enough." "Okay, you can not only get rewards from the chat group for this task, and there is no danger at all, and you can improve your strength by the way. You should be satisfied with such a good thing." Xiao rolled his eyes when he heard Xiao Yan's complaint. This guy is really... After sighing inwardly, Xiao looked at the two people in front of him and asked bluntly, "By the way, after absorbing so much solar energy, how many turns have you two reached in your current Divine Ring Master cultivation?" Hearing Xiao's question, Xiao Yan and Yihei smiled at each other, and then did not hide it. In front of the people in the live broadcast room and Xiao, they said it out happily. "Xiao Yan, I absorbed less energy, and now I am a 36th turn Divine Ring Master, at the peak of the 6th stage in the early stage. Yihei, I absorbed more energy than Xiao Yan, and my improvement is not bad. Now I am a 128th turn Divine Ring Master, at the peak of the 6th stage in the middle stage." Hearing what the two said, whether it was Xiao standing in front of them or the group members watching the live broadcast in the live broadcast room, they all took a breath of cold air. Is this the abnormality of the Divine Ring Master system? In such a short period of time, Yihei and Xiao Yan's strength has increased by who knows how many times. And it seems that if there is enough time, the strength of the two can continue to rise wildly until the star is completely sucked dry. The live broadcast room is already exploding at this moment. Photographer, oh my god, it's rising so fast? It seems that I underestimated the God Ring Master system before. Photographer, if I can reach the level of the first level God Ring Master, and then find a few stars in the universe to absorb it, photographer, that would be awesome. It won't be a dream to punch and kick a Kivali in the future. Dragon King spraying water, I agree. If I have the 6th level cultivation, I won't be afraid of even dozens of Baishuren, let alone one, Huashin Gentleman Sword. This so-called God Ring Master's cultivation method is so powerful, Huashin Gentleman Sword. If I also practice the God Ring Master system after this period of time, Yu Buquan has already understood most of the information in the group file, and he can be said to be familiar with the level division of the heavens and the worlds. Therefore, when he saw Yihei and Xiao Yan improve their strength so easily, Yu Buquan admitted that he was indeed attracted by the so-called God Ring Master cultivation system. Soon, 10 minutes passed slowly amid the discussion of the crowd. With a flash of light, the figures of Xiao Yan and the other two disappeared abruptly on the spot just as they suddenly appeared. Only those people on the earth were left, watching the three people disappearing in the picture, all silent, not knowing what they were thinking. Fighting the world. Warcraft Mountains. With a flash of light, Xiao Yan's body instantly appeared in the canyon. As soon as he appeared, Xiao Yan felt the surging power in his body, and he could no longer suppress his excitement and began to laugh. Ha ha ha, this time the harvest is really huge, 5 million points. the world origin that he urgently needs, and this crazy surge in strength. I didn't expect that this mission would actually have such a big harvest. It's really worth it. I really hope to encounter such a welfare mission in the future. Okay, you stinky boy, stop laughing. With a wisp of green smoke rising, Yaolao's soul body, which was like a substance, slowly floated out of the ring in Xiao Yan's hand. He frowned at his apprentice's complacency and could not help but stop him. I know you have gained a lot this time, and it is normal to be happy, but don't forget the business. After that, Yaolao's tone changed and he said to Xiao Yan, go to the chat group and report your safety to everyone first, and then get ready. You should know that the task just now is just a prelude. What needs to be done next is the key. Yes, teacher. Hearing Yaolao's words, Xiao Yan nodded and gradually calmed down. After all, he dared not neglect what he was going to do next. Then, Xiao Yan entered the chat group and reported his safety. Then, he followed Yaolao to a cave in the Monster Mountain range. After entering the cave, Yaolao observed the surroundings and found no monsters sneaking in, so he gently clicked on a mechanism on the wall. Boom boom, then, with a rumbling sound, a huge rock slab slowly fell from the top of the cave. Soon, this heavy stone slab blocked the entire cave tightly. Xiao Yan looked at Yaolao's actions and did not speak. Instead, he took out the lighting tools prepared in advance from the ring, soul guide lamps. It must be said that although the group members looked down on the destructive power of soul guides, they were still very satisfied with the functionality of those life-type soul guides. After all, the life-type soul guides condensed by Wu Tong not only have beautiful appearance, but also high practicality. These divine ring masters can condense a piece of soul power crystal to make these life-type soul guides run for a long time. Chapter 494, The Method of Condensing the Supreme Yang Divine Body. Therefore, except for a few group members who already have a good life, most group members have purchased some life-related soul guides in the group mall to facilitate their lives. Xiao Yan, the protagonist in the ancient fantasy world, is naturally one of them. After taking out the soul guide lamp, Xiao Yan casually mobilized the divine power in his body, condensed a divine power crystal, and then placed the divine power crystal on the battery of the soul guide lamp. Then he gently turned the switch of the lamp. Swish, the soft and bright light instantly covered the pitch-black darkness, turning this dark cave into a bright hall. After doing everything, Xiao Yan gently blasted a small hole in the wall beside him, and then put the soul guide lamp in. After doing everything, Xiao Yan turned his eyes to Yaolao who had been watching him. Yaolao saw Xiao Yan looking at him, stroked his beard and said, "Are you ready?" Xiao Yan nodded. "Yes, okay, then let's do it next." Yaolao told Xiao Yan his plan in the expectant eyes of Xiao Yan. "Calm down and adjust your breath first." Upon hearing this, Xiao Yan was immediately stunned. "No, I'm ready and I'm planning to work hard. Now you tell me to calm down? How can I calm down? Or what? With your impatient mentality now, what is the success rate when you condense the divine body later? You have to know that you only have one chance." Seeing Xiao Yan's shocked look, Yaolao immediately glared at him and criticized him. "Calm down first, calm down, and adjust your mentality, so that you can better prepare for what's next." "Okay, teacher." After listening to Xiao Yan, he nodded with all his thoughts, and then took out a cushion and put it on the ground. Then he sat cross-legged on it, closed his eyes, silently recited the Bingsun Ju in his heart, and adjusted his mentality. When he saw Xiao Yan close his eyes, Yaolao also nodded with a look of relief. Respect the teacher, be obedient and sensible. Even after having a great opportunity and achievement, he will not forget the people around him, and will not lose his original heart because of it. Not bad, not bad. This apprentice really makes him very satisfied. After secretly praising Xiao Yan's character and his heart for a while, Yaolao took out a golden red diamond crystal from the bone inflammation ring. This diamond crystal is just a carrier of information. The information contained in it is the practice method that Xiao Yan asked Wu Tong to deduce for him. Zhi Yang Dao Chapter. After glancing at the golden red diamond crystal in his hand, Yaolao poured a ray of mental power into the diamond crystal with ease. Swish, as Yaolao moved, a ray of rosy light suddenly emerged from the crystal. Then, countless rays of rosy light burst out from the diamond crystal one after another. Soon, dense and endless rays of light formed a dazzling red light curtain in the void. On the light curtain, hundreds of thousands of golden characters appeared. The characters were tortuous and unlike any other characters in the world, but they seemed to record the truth of the world, making it easy for people to understand their meaning. And these golden characters that appeared on the red light curtain were Xiao Yan's exclusive practice method, the chapter of the Way of the Sun, which Wu Tong had imprinted in the diamond-shaped crystal. Yao Lao and Xiao Yan had already read the contents of the chapter of the Way of the Sun for no less than 10,000 times, and had already memorized them. So Yao Lao ignored the contents of the practice method, but cast his eyes directly to a place on the upper right side of the light curtain. In this place, a special surprise specially prepared by Wu Tong for Xiao Yan was recorded, the method of condensing the sun body. This so-called Supreme Yang Divine Body Condensation method was created by Wu Tong based on Yihei's ancient holy body, the Divine Body technology of the Super God Academy, the Divine Body Amber provided by San Yuki, treasures of the Black Tower, left by the Amber King, the body of the demon god in Hongli's world, and other strange physiques derived from many worlds, either acquired or innate, tailored for Xiao Yan and specially derived. It is a special physique condensation method similar to the fantasy world. Once Xiao Yan successfully condenses this divine body, his cultivation speed, strength, combat power, and life essence will undergo earth-shaking changes. After all, this is equivalent to turning a genius into a genius with a special physique. Therefore, after seeing this divine body condensation method, Xiao Yan and Yao Lao immediately decided that they must let Xiao Yan condense this Supreme Yang divine body. However, there are gains and losses in everything. It is not an easy task to condense this kind of divine body. The things that need to be prepared are all precious treasures that are hard to come by: solar magic, big sun crystal, array of the origin of the world, divine body amber, holy body essence blood, strange flames and other precious materials, none of which can be missing. Fortunately, Xiao Yan has a chat group, a platform that can connect the heavens and the world. Although these precious materials are difficult to find, they are not impossible to find in the group mall. And just after Xiao Yan searched the group mall and gathered most of the materials, he suddenly found that he was still missing one thing: the origin of the world. And the origin of the world is the most important core in the process of condensing the divine body, and it is indispensable. Therefore, Xiao Yan's process of condensing the divine body was deadlocked here. And just when Xiao Yan was worried about the origin of the world, the group task appeared so beautifully. Therefore, when Xiao Yan saw that the task reward was the origin of the world, he was so excited. After all, with this, Xiao Yan can condense the Yang divine body. Fortunately, the final result lived up to expectations. After some effort, Xiao Yan finally succeeded in obtaining this ray of the origin of the world. And the important thing that Xiao Yan and Yao Lao talked about just now was naturally to condense the Yang divine body. Shaking his head and retracting his thoughts, Yao Lao once again checked the things needed to condense the divine body. In case there was something missing, there would be time to make up for it later. In this way, Xiao Yan closed his eyes to adjust his mentality, and Yao Lao checked the materials one by one, and time passed by minute. Finally, after a quarter of an hour, Xiao Yan opened his eyes again. This time, there was no excitement and urgency in his eyes. Only the calmness like the surface of a lake and the calmness of an ancient well remained. "Teacher, well, it seems that you are ready." Yao Lao looked at Xiao Yan's eyes and nodded with satisfaction. "Then let's get started." Chapter 495, Small Flaws in the Divine Ring Master System. Hearing this, Xiao Yan's face immediately showed a touch of excitement. He nodded and said, "Okay, teacher." After that, Yao Lao and Xiao Yan started to prepare for the condensation of the divine body in this cave. Just as Xiao Yan was preparing to condense the divine body and secretly rolled up the group members, another guy who had gained a lot also returned to his own world at this moment. The world of the sky. The Big Dipper Star region. The Burial Emperor Star, the East Wasteland. The Kingdom of Yan. Lingsu Dongshan. With a ray of light flashing, Yihei's figure suddenly appeared in a room in Lingsu Dongshan. "Yizi, you are finally back." Paibo, who was guarding the room and holding the door for Yihei, finally breathed a sigh of relief when he saw Yihei finally came back. "You don't know how nervous I was during the time you were away, for fear that you would encounter danger in other worlds." Yihei just listened to Pangbo's nagging and concern quietly, smiling without saying a word. Pangbo, in the original plot, is a genius who has the blood of the demon god. He is also Yihei's childhood friend and one of his best friends. In the original plot, he is also Yihei's most trusted friend. Yihei has always trusted Pangbo. Therefore, After Yihei practiced the Divine Ring Master System and stepped into the extraordinary, he told his parents and Panbo all the practice methods and chat group of the Divine Ring Master System, leading them to embark on the road of practice together. Therefore, although Yihei was a little surprised as to why Panbo appeared in his room and why he knew that he had gone to another world, he was not very surprised. After all, although Yihei did not tell him these things, it would be quite simple if Panbo was willing to figure it out. But after a while, seeing that Panbo was still chattering and had an endless trend, Yihei immediately understood his thoughts. So Yihei rubbed his brows with a headache, and finally couldn't help but speak. Okay, Master Pang, please stop reciting. If you continue to recite this tight spell, my head will probably explode. Don't you just want to go with me? Next time I will definitely take you with me, okay? It's a deal. Hearing Yihei's promise, Panbo smiled and immediately stopped his nagging. You guy, why didn't I find you so eloquent before? Seeing this, Yihei rolled his eyes and complained without hesitation. Haha, there are so many things you haven't discovered. You have to discover them yourself. Panbo turned a deaf ear to Yihei's complaints. Compared to being able to adventure in another world, being complained about a few times, what does it count for? Yihei can complain if he wants to. Anyway, it won't cost him a piece of meat. So Panbo didn't care at all, he just laughed and looked at Yihei curiously. By the way, Yeezy, I see that your momentum has changed so much, you must have gained a lot, right? Tell me about your experience this time. The Divine Ring Master System is good in every way, but this is not good, because it is too easy to improve strength, so if the strength is improved too quickly, then the control of strength is not very perfect. And this is the case with Yihei this time. Because his strength increased too quickly, he was directly promoted from a 4-ring Divine Ring Master to a 128-ring Divine Ring Master. The strength increased too quickly. So Yihei's control power could not completely control his own strength. Therefore, when Yihei just returned, although he tried his best to suppress the momentum emanating from his body. But for Panbo, it was like encountering something, an invincible flood beast, which made him tremble in his heart. Therefore, Panbo, who came back to his senses, directly concluded that Yihei's gains this time must be considerable. Therefore, driven by curiosity about the other world and Yihei's strength, Panbo looked at Yihei with expectation. After hearing Panbo's explanation, Yihei nodded thoughtfully. It seems that the God Ring Master System is not so perfect. When improving strength in the future, you need to squeeze out some time to exercise your control. Otherwise, if you improve too quickly and turn into a walking destruction machine in the future, it will not be good. He made up his mind to pick a time to exercise his control. After finishing his own things, Yihei looked at Panbo's expectant eyes and said helplessly, okay, in this case, I will tell you about my experience this time. Then, in Panbo's excitement mixed with expectation, curiosity and nervousness, Yihei told Panbo about his mission experience one by one. That's it. After listening to Yihei's explanation, Panbo's originally excited mood suddenly fell. He thought that the mission in the other world would be a scene of fighting on the battlefield, the battle between heaven and earth, etc. But it turned out to be like this? I admit that I was shocked after hearing about your improvement in strength. But I am very disappointed with your mission experience. Yihei's mouth twitched when he heard this. As a close friend who grew up together, he naturally understood what Panbo meant. However, it was because he understood Panbo's meaning that Yihei was so speechless. So Yihei rolled his eyes and didn't indulge this guy. He said directly, okay, since you don't like it, then let's forget about going to the other world next time. Before Yihei finished speaking, Panbo rushed up and covered his mouth with one hand, and quickly begged for mercy. I'm wrong, I know I'm wrong, you are the most handsome, you are the best, Yeezy, you must not give up on me, I still want to see the style of the other world. Yihei heard this and slapped Panbo's hand away. Do you know you were wrong? Panbo nodded quickly. I know after a fight. Yihei and Panbo became serious again. Panbo looked at Yihei and asked, Yeezy, since your current strength has reached the middle stage of the 6th stage, how can you say that it is equivalent to the saint level? Yihei nodded. If we really fight, I probably won't be able to win, but in terms of destructive power, I have indeed reached it. So what? The Divine Ring Master System mainly emphasizes the use of force to suppress the opponent. Although the cultivation level and destructive power have reached the standard, Fighting is not just about the cultivation level and destructive power. Chapter 496, Disappearing Mobius. Magical power, weapons, physique, secrets, forbidden techniques, combat experience, these things are all major factors that can determine the outcome of a battle. Therefore, if it is really a battle of the same level, Yihei will definitely not be able to win. After all, his accumulation is still too little compared to those old monsters who have inherited the family sect. Upon hearing this, Pangbo immediately asked curiously, since your strength is so strong, what are you going to do next? After thinking about it, Yihei looked at Pangbo and said with a smile, of course, I will go to find treasures. It's revealed in the plot that there are so many treasures and secrets hiding places. Since we already know where they are, of course we have to find them back to prevent the treasures from being covered in dust. Listening to Yihei's words, Pangbo scratched his head, his eyes lit up and said, yes, it makes sense. But why do I always feel that your words have a taste of Hei Wang and Duanda? Oh, cough, cough. Yihei heard this and coughed awkwardly. Because when he said this just now, he did think of those two guys. Pangbo ignored Yihei's cough and continued, by the way, are you going to find Hei Wang and Duanda? Aren't you close friends? Close friends? Are you serious? Yihei's mouth twitched wildly, as if he couldn't believe what Pangbo said. Just those two guys, Hei Wang and Duanda, you said they are my close friends? Are you kidding me? You really don't take the saying you can't be too Duanda when you are a man, and you can't be too Hei Wang when you are a dog seriously. It seems that it's time for you to see how powerful those two guys are. Ahem, I was wrong, bad friend, I meant bad friend. Hearing Yihei's question, Pangbo felt a cold sweat on his forehead, and he coughed embarrassedly and took back what he said. Yihei took a deep look at Pangbo. You'd better be wrong. Just when Yihei wanted to continue talking. Dong dong dong, a knock on the door suddenly sounded. Who is it? Hearing the knock on the door, Pangbo asked hurriedly. Junior brother Pang? You're here too? That's great. I am Qixia, an outer disciple of Ling Su Dongshan. I am here to inform you and junior brother Yifan on the instructions of Elder Wu Qingfeng, and ask you to go find him. The disciples outside the door were stunned when they heard Pangbo's voice, and then they immediately told the two of them their purpose. Hearing this, Yihei and Pangbo looked at each other and thanked the disciples outside the door. We know, please let senior brother Qixia pass on the message. The two of us will prepare a little and go find Elder Wu right away. Okay, since the notice has been notified to the two junior brothers, I will leave first. The two junior brothers must hurry up. After informing the two, the disciples outside the door left directly. After hearing the people outside the door leave, Pangbo looked at Yihei and asked in confusion, Yizi, what did old man Wu call us for? Yihei shook his head, I just came back, how should I know? Wouldn't it be clear if I go over and take a look? But, why, are you still afraid that they can beat me? That's true. After hearing Yihei's words, and thinking of Yihei's current strength, Pangbo nodded, and then stopped thinking about those things. After all, when a person's strength reaches a certain level, all the conspiracies and tricks are just useless things. Although Yihei's strength has not reached this level in the world of covering the sky. But no matter what, with his current combat power in the Saint Realm, it is still no problem to deal with a small Lingsu cave heaven. Naturally, there is no need to worry too much. Okay, since there is no problem, let's go. After Yihei said, he walked out of the door. Wait for me, Yizi. Seeing Yihei walk out, Pangbo also reacted and hurriedly followed him. Let's talk about two things separately. Just after the two returned to their own world. It has only been a few days in the Douluo world. The storm caused by the destruction of the God realm is still spreading. Many forces with the inheritance of gods, when they guessed that there might be problems in the God realm, immediately sent out spies and began to inquire about the news on the continent. And those forces that did not know the reason suddenly found that there were suddenly many spies with hidden strength in the entire continent, which made these forces feel that everyone was in danger. Therefore, the situation in Douluo Continent suddenly became tense. The situation was changing, and it was unpredictable. This calm before the storm seemed to be foreshadowing the arrival of the storm. However, no matter how much these storms spread, they had no effect on the Academy in the Afterglow Canyon. Of course, they did not dare to spread the storm anywhere. After all, everyone knows that there is a stronger existence than the gods in that place. In Yuhu Academy, the laboratory behind Yuling Kuofin. May, have you seen Mobius? After Wei Wei came back, she immediately searched the laboratory, trying to find Mobius, but she couldn't find him after searching for several times. So, she found May, who was doing experiments in seclusion, and wanted to ask her about the whereabouts of Mobius. Mobius? Isn't she always in the laboratory? May, who had been studying new topics in seclusion for nearly a week, was disturbed by Wei Wei and looked at her in confusion. If she remembered correctly, Mobius seemed to have always lived in the laboratory, right? Where could she go? Wei Wei smiled bitterly and said, "No, I can find a place. I have searched everywhere and even called out several times with a loudspeaker in the broadcasting room, but I didn't see her come out." Hearing Wei Wei's answer, May was also a little shocked. What? Could it be that Mobius went out? She was not worried about Mobius' safety. After all, whether in this world or in the other two worlds connected by the dimensional gate, the fusion warriors can be said to be invincible. So May was not worried about Mobius's safety at all. On the contrary, May was worried about the safety of others. After all, this guy Mobius is not a peaceful person. After thinking of this, May hurriedly asked, "By the way, have you asked Klein? Have you contacted him using the Soul Network system? Have you checked the smart bracelet or employee card?" Yes, there is also an employee card. Chapter 497, Heaven returns to heaven, and the world returns to the world. I've looked at the rest, there's no information, but you did remind me that there's an employee card. I almost forgot about it. After being reminded by May, Wei Wei finally remembered something she had forgotten. So she immediately took out a little genius card, the genius card, as Wei Wei called it, which had been transformed by her magician's hands. With a light click, the next moment a white light screen suddenly appeared in front of the two of them. Let me see, I remember the information interface, it seems to be here. Wei Wei flipped through the function panels on the light screen, and then directly clicked on a function panel with a dialog box pattern. The next moment, a pinned information with a flashing red light spot was captured by the two of them. Wei Wei and May looked at it. The source of the news, Mobius. The time of sending the message, 2 days ago. The case was solved. Mobius left a message, but someone didn't find it. May cast a strange look at Wei Wei, who was stunned on the side. Well, you can't blame me for this. Everyone has started using the Soul Network system now. Who would have thought that Mobius would still use the old employee card? Facing May's strange gaze, Wei Wei smiled awkwardly and began to explain. Hearing Wei Wei's sophistry, May suddenly seemed to remember something and smiled awkwardly. Well, this is not Mobius's fault. It's really that the communication equipment is updated too quickly, from the Soul Guide smart bracelet, to the employee card, and then to the Soul Network system. It's only been a few months, and Tong has updated the equipment several times. It's really not convenient for us to do research. After all, it's better to store all the data in one device than to store a copy of the data in each device. So after a discussion between Mobius and I, we decided to use the employee card as a work device. Because you were away during this period, I forgot to tell you. Wei Wei was speechless. No wonder. So the employee card will be a permanent device in our laboratory in the future. May nodded. Yes. If it is not necessary, it should not be changed. After all, it is too troublesome to change it back and forth. After saying that, May seemed to feel that the atmosphere was a bit awkward, and she quickly changed the subject. By the way, these are not important. Let's take a look at the message left by Mobius first. What if there is her whereabouts in it? As she said that, May directly stretched out her finger and clicked on the message left by Mobius on the screen in front of Wei Wei. The next moment, a message appeared in front of the two. To Wei Wei, message, I am going to the Star Iron world. Don't look for me, I will come back in a while. By the way, I took the thing I told you about when I left, because I want to use that thing to communicate with the geniuses. As for research, I will talk about it when I come back. Star Iron world. After seeing the message, as expected, May and Wei Wei's eyes suddenly turned red. But this is not because of envy, but pure anger. Mobius? Wei Wei looked at the message, gritted her teeth and called out Mobius' name word by word. We agreed to go together, but now you're going alone secretly. What's going on? You're running away. Let's go. Find Tong, and let's go too. May was also very angry when she saw the news about Mobius. After knowing about the Star Iron world, the three of them agreed to go together, but now Mobius ran away secretly. How could May bear this? She is also very interested in the geniuses and technologies in the Star Iron world. On the other side, in a small room in the laboratory, Tong, who was being looked for by Mei and Wei Wei, was doing something big at the moment: refine the small god realm. In the few days after destroying the god realm, Wu Tong has completely controlled the Douluo world and become the master of the Douluo realm. Then his next focus will be on developing and expanding the Douluo Continent. After all, this is his foundation. As his second hometown, Wu Tong still has deep feelings for Douluo Continent. In addition, he has now become the controller of Douluo Continent, so it is his duty to develop and expand Douluo Continent. However, since Douluo Continent is to be developed and expanded, the cultivation and enhancement of strong people is naturally indispensable. After all, only enough strong people can support the prosperity of a world. But when it comes to this, the problem comes. For Wu Tong, it is not difficult to cultivate strong people, but how to manage these strong people who have grown up is difficult. You must know that there is a huge gap between the strong and the weak, which is especially common in Douluo Continent, a place where the strong bully the weak and do not talk about martial ethics. For example, Tang Hao taught Zhao Wuji, Dugubo kidnapped Tang San, and the spirit hall surrounded and killed Tang San. Good guy. It completely disregarded the face of the strong, shameless. Therefore, Wu Tong can almost imagine that after the number of strong people increases in the future, if these strong and weak are squeezed together, the living space and safety of the weak will inevitably be greatly threatened. This is not a scene that people who want to develop the Douluo world want to see. Moreover, although Wu Tong is confident that he can suppress everyone, managing people is not something that can be done by suppression alone. Under heavy pressure, there will be rebellion. Wu Tong, who was a hard-working worker in his previous life, naturally knows this truth very well, because he is one of them, but he did not resist, so he was fired, and then he became a waste house. So, under this consideration, Wu Tong pondered, racked his brains, and worked hard, and finally came up with a plan to manage those strong people. The Small God Realm Plan, which can also be called the Small Immortal Realm Plan. Wu Tong borrowed the plans of the immortal world in the novels of his previous life for the division of the three realms of heaven, earth and man, and wanted to refine a small god realm to completely separate the strong and the weak. We have only created the heaven realm now, and will create the underworld later. To form a complete three-realm system, let all the strong men go to live in the small god realm, so as to avoid a situation where the strong men fight in the Douluo realm and cause large-scale damage. From then on, heaven belongs to heaven, and the human world belongs to the human world. Of course, letting the strong men go to the small god realm does not mean that they can only stay in the small god realm in the future. Chapter 498 Wu Tong's Plan. If that were the case, it would be almost the same as being in jail, and those strong men would not be happy about it. At that time, let alone working for Wu Tong, not resisting Wu Tong was all under their control. Therefore, the strong men who went to the god realm could still come down, but once they entered the mortal world, Douluo Continent, most of their power would be sealed, and only the power of the mortal world's limit would be retained. In this way, not only would it not have too much impact on the human world, but it would also make the strong men in the small god realm afraid. After all, although there are few extreme strong men in the human world, there are still some. If you really want to do it, you need to consider what consequences you should bear after you do it. However, in this way, although the strong men are restrained from doing whatever they want and disrupting the order with their own strength, but soon, a new problem will arise. That is, if those strong men are restricted in this way, they may feel very novel in the early stage, but they will definitely try their best to escape from the small god realm in the later stage. Refer to the gods in the god realm. They are all sick from idleness, and all want to escape from the god realm. After all, if they are only restricted without any benefits, it would be strange if they don't run if they are only given sticks but not dates, and only let the horses run without giving them grass. However, this problem is not a problem for Wu Tong. Isn't it just a benefit? Simple. Follow Wu Tong, there will be bread, milk, and everything. As long as Wu Tong fully releases the restrictions of the Dimension Gate and speeds up the speed of world exploration, then the endless and wonderful world will definitely make those guys happy. After all, the saying that there are all kinds of surprises in the heavens and the worlds is not a joke. Maybe by then, these guys will not want to go back to Douluo Continent? After all, how can a small Douluo Continent be as interesting as the endless and wonderful heavens and the worlds? In this way, not only will those powerful people in the God realm get spiritual satisfaction, but even Wu Tong will get more benefits from it. Because big capitalist, Pancake Man, Wu Tong, tired of staying in the God realm? Go to work, conquer the world. Bored? Go to work, have a lot of energy but nowhere to use it? Go to work, want to fight? Fight in other worlds, and do some work at the same time. In the long run, with the growth of the worlds under his command, the number of strong people will inevitably increase. The speed of world conquest will definitely increase. At that time, Wu Tong will no longer need to worry about the development and growth of the Douluo realm. Ahem, I have gone off topic. Let's move the camera back to Wu Tong's retreat. At this moment, Wu Tong has already refined the small divine realm. Looking at the transparent ball of light in front of him, which he had refined by himself, it was like a dream, like reality, and existed but not existed. Wu Tong shouted excitedly, the small divine realm is finally done. It's not easy. In order to refine this small divine realm, he has invested most of his wealth that he has saved during this period. But fortunately, after failing several times, this small world of gods, which was created with the remains of the God realm center, fragments of the God realm laws, a lot of precious materials, the origin of the world, and the two small worlds he owned, and existed between illusion and reality, and was forever bound to the Douluo realm, was finally completed. Next, he only needed to unfold the God realm and complete the binding with the Douluo realm, and then he could start the subsequent plans with confidence. After putting away the small world of gods in front of him, Wu Tong immediately breathed a sigh of relief, stretched his waist, and moved his body, which was a little stiff. While moving his body, Wu Tong was calculating in his mind the results of his retreat, a small world of gods for gods, powerful people, to live in, the authority and position of the Lord of the Douluo realm, and the monument for the teaching of the Shinto Kung Fu. Very good. All done. It seems that this retreat can finally be declared a complete success. Finally done. I've been secluded for several days. I'm bored sitting there. It's time to go out and move around. After moving his body, Wu Tong sighed and then slowly walked to the door not far away. He had been staying in this place for several days and was a little bored. Now that everything was done, he naturally didn't want to stay any longer. After all, compared to a dull enclosed small room, his own big bedroom is more suitable for relaxation and leisure. Wu Tong thought while reaching out to open the door. Surprise, surprise? No, it's a shock. As soon as he opened the door, Wu Tong saw that there was already someone blocking the door. And it was the only two people left in the laboratory, Dr. Mei and Wei Weiwei with a magician personality. Mei, Wei Weiwei, what's the matter with you? Looking at the two women in front of him, who looked like they were finally out when they saw him, Wu Tong was silent for a moment, and then asked. Wu Tong was not surprised that these two people could find his location. After all, these two people are geniuses. Isn't it easy to find someone, which is a non-technical task? Besides, it has been several months since this laboratory was handed over to them. With the genius of Mei and Wei Wei, it would be easy for them to find their own retreat place in this familiar place. Therefore, when Wu Tong saw Mei and Wei Wei, he was not surprised. Instead, he wondered why they were looking for him. Although he didn't know what these two scientists wanted to find him for, Wu Tong still had some guesses in his heart. Could it be that they were looking for him because of Moebius? As soon as Wu Tong's guess arose, the next moment, the words of the two helped him verify this guess. Moebius and Mei looked at each other, and then said in unison, "We both want to go to the Star Iron world, too." Hearing what the two said, Wu Tong slapped himself in the face. As expected, I knew it. Ignoring Wu Tong's strange behavior, Mei continued, "I just saw Moebius' message. Since she has already been there, I think we should also go there. After all, only in this way can we get more benefits." "Yes, brother Wu Tong, you can't be partial to one and abandon the other." "What the hell is abandoning the other?" Wu Tong speechlessly gave Wei Weiwei, who used random words. Chapter 499 The fire of gossip is burning fiercely. Before Wei Wei could say anything in reply, Wu Tong turned to Mei and said, Just like you said, since I have sent Moebius over, it would be a bit unreasonable not to let you go, and during this period of time, it seems that there is nothing that I have to ask you to do, so I agreed." "Huh? You agreed so easily?" Wei Wei felt a little incredible when she heard Wu Tong's words. You know, the three of them had asked Wu Tong about this matter before, but Wu Tong just refused to agree. But this time, Wu Tong suddenly gave in and agreed to their request, which made Wei Wei feel like a dream. After hearing Wei Wei's unbelievable tone, Wu Tong couldn't help but complain in his heart, "Oh my god, isn't it? I didn't let you go, but you insisted on going. Now I'll let you go, but you think I agreed too quickly. Wei, aren't you too hard to please?" But even if he complained, since he had agreed to it, Wu Tong would not regret it. So, after sighing helplessly, Wu Tong asked, "What else? Mobius has already passed, what's the point of suppressing you? Besides, you have been working for several months. It's time for you to take a break. Just treat this as a holiday, oh hey." When Wei Wei heard Wu Tong's words, "I have been working for several months," she felt her face getting hot. Because in these few months, she spent most of her time playing and didn't work at all. Wei, I have been fighting against Honkai for so long, and now I don't have to fight Honkai anymore. What's wrong with me enjoying myself? So after hearing Wu Tong's words, Wei Wei felt a little ashamed for a second. Well, only for 1 second. Wu Tong did not notice the change in Wei Wei's expression, and continued to say, "Wait a moment, I will teleport you there right away." After that, Wu Tong turned his head and instructed Mei, "By the way, Mei, after we get there, you will need to keep an eye on the two of them. After all, you should know how capable these two guys are of causing trouble. You should know that in the world over there is no Alicia to mediate, so you will have to work hard." After entrusting Mei with his instructions, Wu Tong turned his gaze to Wei on the side and rolled his eyes and said, "And you, Wei, don't cause trouble after you get there. After all, we can't afford to offend those star gods in the world yet. You better take it easy." Hearing Wu Tong's words, Mei nodded directly and made a promise. "Okay, I get it. Don't worry, Wu Tong. I will keep an eye on the two of them and won't let them mess around." Wei also hurriedly stated her position, fearing that if she spoke too slowly, Wu Tong would not let her go. "Don't worry, brother Wu Tong. You have to believe the promise of the world's #1 magician." After hearing the promises of the two, Wu Tong nodded and was about to put the two into the storage space. But as if he remembered something, he asked, "By the way, Mei, have you told Kevin and the others about this?" Hearing Wu Tong's words, Mei nodded and said, "I have already told the others when I came to you just now." Wu Tong asked, "What do they mean?" Mei looked at Wu Tong in confusion. "What do you mean?" "Nothing. It's just going to another world. What can they mean?" Ahem. Wu Tong pretended to cough, and then said in a tactful tone, "I mean Kevin, he didn't say anything. Did he want to go with you?" Wei, who was standing aside, looked at Wu Tong, who was laughing very gossipy, with a surprised expression after hearing Wu Tong's question. It seemed that she couldn't believe that Wu Tong was such a person. However, Wu Tong's performance obviously disappointed her. Because as a Chinese child, the characteristics of eating melons and watching dramas have long been engraved deep in his genes and have become Wu Tong's instinct. So when Wei looked at Wu Tong, she could see the gossip fire burning in Wu Tong's eyes almost at a glance. "Wei, I didn't expect that, Wu Tong. You are such a person." Since even Wei, who was standing next to him, could notice Wu Tong's state, then Mei, who was standing opposite him, would naturally be no exception. After feeling the gossip fire in Wu Tong's eyes, Mei suddenly felt helpless. Wu Tong, this guy, is really. Although he is not a bad person by nature, his personality is really a headache. Although Mei didn't really want to say it, she also knew that if she didn't satisfy Wu Tong's curiosity, they would not be able to leave. So after hesitating for a while, Mei spoke out Kevin's reaction. "He said he wanted to go with me, but I stopped him." "Stopped? Why?" Wu Tong was about to ask after hearing Mei's words. But Mei seemed to know what Wu Tong was going to say, shook her head, and directly brought up a topic. "The question has been answered. Can you send us there?" Okay." Wu Tong was choked when he heard Mei's words that were almost a clear rejection. However, Wu Tong was not very angry about Mei's rejection. After all, no matter how you look at it, it was a private matter between Mei and Kevin. It was Mei's kindness to tell her a little and satisfy her curiosity. If she really told her everything, it would not be teasing, but prying into someone's privacy. So after being rejected, Wu Tong did not continue to make trouble, but nodded and agreed to Mei's urging. Afterwards, Wu Tong casually made a storage space that could store living things, and then directly put the two people in front of him into the storage space. After doing everything, Wu Tong skillfully opened the Dimension Chat group. At this moment in the Dimension Chat group, the group members were still discussing the group task just now. As soon as Wu Tong entered the group, He saw that everyone was discussing the abnormal performance of the God Ringmaster. So, driven by curiosity, he also skillfully inserted himself into the conversation. Seeker, what happened? Why are you all discussing the issue of the Divine Ringmaster? Photographer, oh. Wu Tong, you are here. Photographer, you don't know, just now, blah blah, soon, under March 7's vivid explanation. Chapter 500, The Pain of Insufficient Talent. Wu Tong finally understood what happened in the group live broadcast. Seeker, I see. Seeker, but that's it, what's so surprising? Haven't the characteristics of the Divine Ringmaster been introduced in the group mall? Seeker, what I didn't expect was that Yuhei and Xiaoyan were already at the 6th level. It seems that they have gained a lot from this group task. Dragon King spraying water, seeing Wu Tong's speech, Guruli suddenly felt a heart-wrenching pain in her heart. It was a kind of regret as if she had suddenly lost 5 million. Dragon King spraying water, damn it, I regret it when I think of this. Dragon King spraying water, why didn't I practice hard before to improve the cultivation of the Divine Ringmaster? Dragon King spraying water, if I had a divine ring, I might have a share of this welfare task. Buyao Bilion, oh, okay, stop complaining, group leader, you have complained 800 times. Buyao Bilion, if you really want to improve your strength so quickly, condense the magic ring, and then let Bai Shuren take you to the universe, isn't it? Buyao Bilion, you know, the number of stars in the universe is countless. Buyao Bilion, the two of them can improve so much with the abundant energy on a star. Just think about it, if you have those stars, you can improve Zhang Chulin's words before he finished speaking. The next moment, Guruli's questioning voice appeared on the chat panel in front of him. Dragon King spraying water, Bilion, you actually asked me to go to Bai Shuren? Dragon King spraying water, let this group leader go to the enemy for help? And you asked me to go to my lifelong enemy. What's your intention? Buyao Bilion, hey, don't play like this. Group leader. Looking at Guruli's message, Zhang Chulin's keen sixth sense immediately gave him an ominous premonition. Buyao Bilion, you didn't say that you wanted to improve? Group reminder, group member Buyao Bilion was banned for 1 hour by group owner Long Wangpeng Shui. Chat groups are not lawless places, please take this as a warning. Lazy Angel, poor kid. Lazy Angel, I hope you can reflect on yourself during the ban, amen. Photographer, by the way, Wu Tong, how many turns of the Divine Ringmaster system are you practicing? Seeker, why do you ask me that? I haven't practiced the Divine Ringmaster system at all. Photographer, you haven't practiced the Divine Ringmaster system? Aren't you the founder of this system? Seeker, Zio Sanayu, who stipulated that the founder must practice the skills he created? Seeker, I didn't practice the ancient god's divine way, which has unlimited potential, and practice the Divine Ringmaster system, which has the highest potential of only the 9th level so far. Am I crazy? Photographer, yes. After being asked this by Wu Tong, Samyuki also realized her own problem, which seemed a little stupid. If she were Wu Tong, with her potential and talent, she would not give up the ancient gods and the way of the gods system, which has unlimited potential, to practice the God Ringmaster system, which has high potential but has limits. After all, although the God Ringmaster system is good, it is impossible to enter the 10th level. If you don't enter the 10th level, you can't transcend, and if you can't transcend, you will be just an ant in this endless void. So, if even she is unwilling, then how can Wu Tong, who is more talented, stronger, and more talented than her, be willing? After thinking it through, Samyuki also scratched her head in embarrassment. It seems that I have to think more when asking questions in the future. If this continues, she is really afraid that her image will be completely fixed on the inherent impression of being stupid. Xianji Wang, Alice, the ancient gods and the way of the gods. This is the only way to heaven in the group now. Xianji Wang, if my talent is not enough, I would want to take this road. His eye looked at Wu Tong's words and couldn't help but think of what happened some time ago, and she sighed with regret. Some time ago, after Wu Tong finished his 3-year retreat, he had already uploaded all the 129,600 volumes of ancient God Shinto techniques that he had summarized to the group mall. After learning about the Earth's culture, his eye, who is very interested in the supreme existence of ancient gods, naturally would not miss this opportunity to learn about ancient gods. So almost as soon as Wu Tong uploaded it, Hizai immediately exchanged for a Shinto technique. However, just when she was about to practice, she suddenly found that she couldn't understand it, couldn't learn it, and couldn't practice it. This so-called incomprehensible is not a literal, visual incomprehensible feeling. It is a metaphysical, incomprehensible, and imperceptible wonderful feeling from the heart. The first moment she saw the technique, a feeling that she would never be able to set foot on the Shinto came directly from her heart. There is no fate, and it cannot be forced. When this feeling came to her mind, Hizai immediately understood that she did not have enough talent and aptitude in Shinto practice, so she could not set foot on the ancient Shinto. So, in desperation, Hizai had to give up the idea of practicing the ancient Shinto and concentrate on practicing the God Ring Master system. However, although she did not set foot on the ancient Shinto practice method she exchanged was not wasted. When Hizai found out that she had no fate with Shinto, she sent it to Keisha. In Hizai's view, since she had no fate with Shinto, then her good friend Keisha should have no fate with Shinto like herself. So she sent the Shinto practice method to Keisha just to laugh at Keisha. But unexpectedly, Keisha's talent in the ancient Shinto was completely opposite to Hizai's. As soon as she got the Shinto technique, Keisha immediately fell into an epiphany. As her epiphany deepened, her Shinto cultivation also advanced by leaps and bounds. Even now, Keisha's Shinto cultivation has reached the peak of the early 6th order. You know, that's not a fake 6th order like a divine ring master, but a genuine early 6th order strongman who combines the laws, divine skills, divine power, authority and other Shinto powers. When he thought of this, Hizai had the urge to bite his handkerchief. I didn't expect it. I was planning to tease Keisha, but I didn't expect the reversal to come so quickly. Before she could react, she turned into a clown. Bully Spider, +1. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.